Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Oh, welcome. You've stepped into my kingdom. Oh, what lowly peasants you are. Why aren't you out fighting the worm? Tyler and Grim, why do you come in here and waste my time?
Oh, Christ, that's just where we're at right now, isn't it?
Oh, look at you. Pissed, drunk, and high. Oh, just how despicable you, Fiona, are. I always knew you'd amount to nothing but failure.
Not high, just drunk, because I knew I had to deal with you today.
you're not
And
wrong
look at
there.
you. Look at you, Grim. That look in your eyes. Oh, you smell of blood and farts. Clean yourself up before you come into my chamber.
I mean, aren't we supposed to smell of blood if we're out fighting the worm and all that?
See, you are making a horrible first impression right now. First impressions are everything. But no, I can't expect a pup to know anything about manners.
I think you're a bit too many generations close to the root of the tree, Matt. Just saying.
And if you couldn't tell from that, we're doing the Silver Fangs this time. The objectively worst werewolf.
Yeah. If you like playing the Silver Fangs, fuck you, you suck.
Yes, no, your character sucks. You've got stones if you're playing as these guys.
Yes.
Uh,
Like,
I was looking through this book. Kyle, I remember these guys being bad, but then I looked at Surfing's first edition. Good God, you guys are psychopaths. What the fuck?
they're out their goddamn mind. That's what happens when you fuck your cousin for the 5th time in a row.
You're not wrong.
We've got Johnny, we've got Kyle, we've got Ryan.
So,
This is where I say where you remember when we were looking through the dumpster fire that was Werewolf 5e that they kept calling it punk when we said no, this isn't punk. And the Silver Fangs are my cited source as to why this story isn't punk. Um,
Yes.
you look at these guys, and this is a royal bloodline ordained by three different gods and Falcon, who have the decree of we are rulers just because of our pedigree. We've been chosen, and if you disagree with what we say, we will strike you down without a second thought.
Yeah, they're
And
real
you
sweethearts,
look at
all of them.
they could
you
try.
look at the lore characters. You look at the lore characters, and we are going to bring up Jacob Morningkill at some point during this episode. So when you're playing Werewolf the Apocalypse, I mean, yeah, uh, it's cute.
Wait, what the fuck?
It's cute that you think you're the heroes of this little adventure, but you're not.
Like, quite
Welcome to World of
literally,
Darkness, kiddos.
going back to what we said about the 5e review, and we're about, like, what is the theme of Werewolf the Apocalypse? And I said it was doom metal. It was persisting in a doomed world. And this is probably
Yeah.
one of the most doomed tribes out there, and we will go into detail as to why.
Yeah, Discord's starting to piss me off too because I keep trying to play sound effects and it won't come through the microphone.
Yeah, I'll hold the phone closer to the microphone.
Yeah, I did. I had it like touching this, like that.
Yeah, okay.
You probably didn't even hear me bumping in my headset.
I heard it's cute that, and that's about it.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I'm going to have to go into Discord settings because fuck that shit. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
All right.
So
You
that's
can
the
stop
case.
playing the high society music.
Yes. Time for lore.
As we know, the Persona is one of the most prestigious RPGs.
Give me one of that. Give me that sweet, sweet lore.
Yes.
This is a long story. Get ready. We begin with the formation of the first tribe. These guys will love to tell you that they are the very first tribe. Both books have a framing device where first edition, we're referring to both editions for this. First edition, it's portrayed as a bunch of different letters from different lore characters within the Silver Fangs. And with second edition, it's Jacob Morningkill, who might as well be the main character of Werewolf the Apocalypse. Um, this is kind of like uh Kyle, we've told you about Warhammer 40K, me, Gary, and Fox, and we told you that Caiaphas Cain was kind of sort of the main character of Warhammer when it came to novels.
Something like that.
Uh, that it's the same with Jonas Albrecht, where most novels will involve him as the main character. And yeah, it's interesting. It's cool that we have like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings as a werewolf. That kind of is what he is, where he's a king that has come back and he's come to this like kingdom that's fallen apart and he has to stone up and take the reins. It's him talking to. I looked at this guy's name. I could not get a correct pronunciation on it. It's spelled Byeli. I looked that name up. I got Nigeria as a source. I know there are no black Silver Fangs.
Is it
So
Bilai?
I think it's like Byeli or something like that. Or Byeli.
By Eli, I think.
And then we get a third person, Nightmane. So it's got three different narrators. And I would not blame you for stepping out of this book. Ryan had to tag out, and Kyle couldn't finish it either. It's because the writing is incredibly dry.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
I was
not
taking my notes on it this morning, and I was trying not to fall asleep. It was a lot.
Yeah, it's dry in a different way compared to the Red Talons, because the Red Talons, it's can you tell me about the thing? Here's the thing, and that's your entire dialogue with the Red Talons. They tell it like it is. But this, it's so much dialogue back and forth between two characters that we're never going to use in our games. And cool, I guess if you like legacy characters, there's something in that for you, but it didn't do it for us three. No offense to Bill Bridges, but we just didn't like the plot device.
No, I mean,
Uh,
I see what they were trying to go for here. It was very much like a sword in the stone kind of narration when I was reading it. But I don't know how many people remember the Disney movie Sword in the Stone that fondly. But
That's
there goes
bold.
there goes the music bot.
yep. Anyway,
We now begin. First tribe, the Silver Fangs are in the middle of this massive battle. The worm, continue off of the creation story from the Red Talons book, the worm was bound by the Weaver by this point, and had split into the triads: the Beast of War, the Consumption Worm, the Eater of Souls, and the Defiler Worm, simply known as the Defiler Worm. Beast of War, the Worm of Calamity, decides that he is going to end the world today. This is around, hell, what year would this be anyway? Like 15,000 before Christ? I think
Yeah,
this is
something like
supposed to
that.
be. So he makes a beeline for the World Tree in the Umbra, which is this massive tree in the Deep Umbra, which is kind of like the cornerstone for Gaia, the center of her power. If you destroy that, Gaia dies. So now that region is so heavily protected by Gaian spirits that it's almost impossible for the worm to get to it now. But at the same time, you want to keep some feral breeds around that area because if it goes, we all go. Calamity Worm comes in, and every other changing breed, the Macaulay, the Korax, the Noisha, the Gural, the Bastet, all send their best warriors, and none of them are able to stop the Beast of War. So the Silver Fangs, known as Wolf, known specifically as Old Wolf of the Woods, the Red Talon Totem, not quite the Red Talon Totem yet, but he's in the process of becoming that. He decides that he is going to lead everyone into this massive fight to stop the Calamity Worm. As they run in, he fights the worm head on, and he ultimately loses, but he ends up wounding the Calamity Worm to the point that it has to retreat. So pretty badass all said and done, and then he dies. But this isn't the end of the story. In his visions of death, he wakes up in the Shadowlands, and Death himself appears before the Guru. And he says, I am going to tell you the secret of death. So there is a big creature lurking within the Oblivion. That is me. I'm going to tell you all about Wraiths, how the system works, what the Shadowlands are, and behold, I am going to do this one time only. I will restore you to life. You will come back with gray eyes and silver fur. That's fine. That's just what it looks like, the side effect of being resurrected. And boom, Death snaps his fingers, and that Silver Fang comes back to life as the very first Silver Fang. And seen as this messiah amongst werewolves, he is immediately made the leader amongst Targaru. All the werewolves want to become this guy. All of them want to be in his good graces. All of them listen to what he has to say until Fenrir and Grandfather Thunder come into play. And behold, that's how the tribe starts. As for why Old Wolf of the Woods isn't a totem anymore, we're getting to that as we go down the line. So, Secret of Death, by the way, when we bring that up, that's pretty much just explaining how the Shadowlands work when you see that come up in the book. That's what that is.
Yeah, I read that a lot when I was looking at the. It's weird how it's structured. There's two things. The book separates them into houses and then camps. We'll be going over houses, and that's where I'll bring it up. But anyway, continue.
As we continue, the worm gets her reputation of being a control freak. The worm was never that good to begin. The weaver was never that good to begin with. And let me take a drink.
Beverage time.
It's around this time that the Red Talons, the first murder happens with them, where a human kills a Red Talon out of sport. The Red Talons, as we know from their story, start lobbying to the Silver Fangs, who by this time, Silver Fang, Old Wolf of the Woods, had started his family, and they keep lobbying to them saying, hey, can we kill humans? I think humans are going to be an issue. I think we need to kill them. And the Silver Fangs say, let me think on that. They launch an investigation, they start looking at humans, and they notice what was a pretty pathetic monkey species has now turned into hunters. They're going against their natural order. These guys were at the bottom of the food chain. How are they hunting predators, killing them, and eating them? And then they realize it's because of the Weaver. They have tools that the Weaver gave them, and they're using them to hunt animals. So, okay, now we see it. Now we see an issue. So, yeah, Red Talons, Imperium approved. Let's do it. And the Imperium begins. The best years of the Red Talon's life.
Because, fuck humanity.
I would like to add, the narrator of first edition shows no remorse about this whatsoever. He says, yeah, we killed women and children, and we loved it. It was awesome. I love war. I love seeing burnt dead bodies. I want to see blood in my eyes, gore in my teeth. I want to kill.
And the Red Talons came in and put their hand on my shoulder, said, you're our boy.
We'll follow you to the end of the world. Don't get used to this. This is the one and only time you will see the two getting along. So, during the whole Imperiuming, the way it's phrased in the first edition book is that Falcon approached the Silver Fangs and said, hey, you guys are cool. You want to be heroes? And the Silver Fangs said, yeah, we want to be heroes. And so they just signed on with Falcon. And Falcon became the totem, and then Old Wolf of the Woods got kicked to the curb. But here instead, as they're Imperiuming, they see this Falcon. And this Falcon flies overhead and says, you're doing a pretty good job. You're doing pretty well. Let me come back to you for a minute. I got an idea. While the Silver Fangs are killing humans, Luna is completely okay with it. And she says, yep, you're doing a pretty cool job killing all these people. Behold, by my divine authority, I'm now making you the kings. And behold, they are ordained by Luna to be the leaders. Ordained by Gaia, ordained by Luna. Falcon flies in and says, Luna chose you? Pretty interesting. Coming back, how's it going with her? And the Silver Fangs say, yeah, it's cool, but she gave us this weird thing. What weird thing? Well, we got auspices now. Depending on what phase of the moon we were born under, we now get superpowers. But she's given us this weird restriction where we can only have a king in charge for 7 years. We don't know why she's doing that. the reason why Luna did that is because, how a species dies is that it stops evolving. She needs constant change in Silver Fang leadership in order to keep the Silver Fangs on their toes, constantly changing, not falling apart. Keep that in mind as the story goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Falcon says, you don't need to do that. I got a way around that. I got my man Helios here, as he points over at the sun, and Helios, rival of Luna, says, "Oh, that 7-day thing. Behold, I will give you gifts that are crazy powerful if you start following me, and you can still follow Luna. That's cool, but yeah, you actually don't need her, and just use my sun powers." And that's like brutally paraphrasing the story, but that's what they do. When it was time for the current king to trade off, he refuses. I guess that was a pretty big jab in the ribs to whoever was supposed to be his successor. But using the power of Helios, that guy stays in charge. Luna is pissed as hell about this. So she says, okay, here's the thing. If you don't want to listen to me, no more moon bridges. Ever. For you. I will give them to every other tribe except you. And yeah, I heard that sigh, Kyle. You know what a detriment that would be.
Yes,
That sounds
oof.
rough.
That means
Yeah.
you, as the leaders of the Garrow, you cannot travel to communicate with anybody else.
No, well, that instead of just relying on the Silent Striders for that, they decide, we are going to build a massive shrine to Luna, and we're going to call it the Lodge of. We're going to call it the Moon Lodge. That's what we're going to call it. And Helios says, well, what the fuck? Why don't I get a lodge? And well, now we're going to build the Sun Lodge. And so they have the Moon Lodge and the Sun Lodge. And Luna says, okay, I'll give you back the moon bridges, but I'm going to give you a different law. If you want to stay in charge past 7 years, I'm going to make you batshit crazy if you do that. And the Silver Fang said, sounds good to me. So, behold, as they proceed to, for the rest of their history, spit in the face of Luna and continue to rule after that 7-year period. Now, you may be wondering, how exactly does that work? It doesn't go with just a leadership position in general. You have to have the king position, like the lord of your house position, in order for that to change, or just king of the Garu nation. If you are in charge for more than 7 years, that's when the horrible, incurable insanity kicks in. Malkavian level insanity.
Oh,
You want to listen to these guys?
I'd never did to begin with.
Well, the thing is with the Malkavians, they can see the future, the past, and the present at the same time. They have an advantage. The Silver Fangs don't have that. You need to rely on spirits and magic for that, and it comes naturally to a Malkavian, not a Silver Fang. So, you're doing a bad job when you make the Malkavians look smart by comparison.
Yeah, I'd say so.
According to the first edition narrator, they ended the Imperium not because the children of Gaia or the Fianna or the Glasswalkers asked them to. They just said, we met our kill quota. That's all they say. We killed all the people we wanted to. They give a grossly inflated 90% of humanity as their statistic. That is not true. But they just say, we only left that's 10% to show that we have some mercy. And we knew that Hamids needed some breeding stock, so all those guys are going to be kinfolk, and we were just going to fuck the shit out of them forever. And that's what it was going to be. We were going to ensure the slow death of humanity by making them all werewolves, and it was just going to be werewolves, lupus forever. And that was the plan. And that plan did not go up.
No.
All right. So, the big vote, they make the litany. They do this to appease the other tribes because they realize maybe we shouldn't get too carried away. We've got the power of the moon and the sun, but we're one tribe. They're 13. We might not get away with this. So they make the litany. They hold them all to vote. Of course, the Bonars and the Black Furies and the Red Talons and the Pure Lands don't get to vote. And the Red Talons say, well, what the fuck? Why didn't we get to vote? And they said, well, it's because you're not a tribe. It's because you're not a tribe. You don't get voted, not a tribe. And it's like that, like really like condescending shit. And then the Red Talon stabs the guy in the chest, rips it open, and says, "You want a tribe so badly? That's our tribe." And then boom, relationship over. The Red Talons now hate the Silver Fangs,
Yeah, for good
but
reason.
they don't care. They don't care. They've got three different gods giving them powers, and Falcon. And let's talk about Falcon for a minute. Fuck Falcon. All my homies hate Falcon. Um,
That was
this
quick.
is th this is the worst totem you could possibly take. Um, but in terms of Falcon as a person, he is an absolute monster, dude. His whole shtick is, I'm going to make you a hero. Go out and die in my name. And if you fail any of my missions, I'm going to ask you to kill yourself instead of asking you to continue to serve me.
So he literally just says, "You will not fall in combat. Commit Sudoku."
Yeah, not even Grandfather Thunder asks for that. And you posted Falcon Punch, Ryan. You wish Falcon gave you those abilities. No, not even close. That, I mean, Helios maybe, but
Oh, wait, did he
like the
actually
benefits
post?
you get from Falcon
Oh,
that
god
good.
damn it!
Just the way you said Falcon
Oh,
made me remind of Falcon Punch.
I'm
yeah,
putting that
Falcon.
up on the
That's
screen.
what
That's going up.
that's that's what we gotta do to Falcon. We gotta punch him out of the sky. Fuck
Yep.
this guy. What happens next? War of Rage. As you guys remember the story, what originally started off as an operation to kill the Ananasi, because after talking with Gaia and being trusted with Gaia's secrets, the Silver Fangs realize what? There were rare insects, and the Ananasi killed all of them? Well, we don't like the Weaver. We killed humanity because of the Weaver. We better get rid of these spiders. And as they were going to go and kill the Ananasi, the Macaulay step up and say, we saw what you did with the Imperium. We lost humans. We lost people. You killed our kinfolk by doing that. So, time to die, motherfucker. We've called all the other fair breeds to kill you. And as the Silver Fangs, realizing that they've made a horrible mistake, call for the War of Rage and heavily propagandize the entire thing. And I say we went around and we killed the shit out of all those fair breeds. We show no remorse for the War of Rage. Those guys deserve their deaths. The Gronder, the Werebore, that nobody cares about, deserve their deaths. The Apis deserved their deaths. The Girl deserved it. The Bastet, some of them deserved it. The Macaulay especially deserved it. But they don't bring up the Ananasi because they fucked up that mission to kill the Ananasi. The Ananasi figured out about it and then got away from it. The only reason why the Ratkin survived is because they surrendered, and the Koraks are still alive because the Koraks snitched on every other fair breed. Great time to be alive, right?
Yeah, it's just absolutely wonderful. Just beautiful.
And everything is great, and behold, you notice that the Silverfangs don't lose any of their powers? That gives an implication. Gaia has been 100% okay with everything the Silverfangs have done. Now, I like to ask you, you all like to think that Gaia is the hero of the story, that she's the good person. Absolutely not. Gaia is the real villain of World of the Apocalypse. I mean, well, she's not as much of a villain as the Worm, but she's up there. Gaia wants to portray herself as this all-loving mother that just has all these people living on her body, and she cares for all of you. No, she wants to force you into a dictatorship run by her as the queen goddess, where the Silverfangs are her little minions that go around and kill everything along with the other werewolves. And if you go against Gaia, by her divine authority, you're destroyed. She is this evil Luddite who wants to see humanity reduced to the Neolithic Age, the Stone Age, and never advance. That's what she wants.
The real
Does that sound like a
villains.
hero to you?
Oh
The
god,
real
no.
villains are the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. Oh, basically yes. Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
So, the Void Engineer plan to make a second planet, that would be a better idea than continuing living on Gaia.
Probably.
If you could help the Void Engineers reach level 10 Arret and have them create a second planet,
You know what? That works for me.
And you want to know something? With all these dead changing breeds, who takes their cairns? The Silver Fangs. Behold, as they just walk in and just steal the cairns and say, "We live here now." The previous tenants, oh no, they didn't exist. No, we're just going to completely redact that from the records. And while they're claiming all this territory, they realize they're spread a little too thin. So they say, we can't have one king rule everything. We need to set up a delegation system. So they start the 13 houses. And we'll go more into houses later. You get a camp and you get a house and a lodge when you play as a Silver Fang. The house just decides where your Silver Fang is from. It decides which part of the family you branch off from. It's just your tree, your branches on the family tree ultimately.
Yep.
It's not a super important detail. I mean, changing the dreaming with the she, yeah, houses are important with the Order of Hermes, absolutely. But the Silver Fangs, not so much because most of these guys are the same.
Yep.
Kind of, sorta.
They're all just snooty bastards.
And now we get to the point where we can fast forward to some of this. You want to know who takes credit for destroying Rome?
Oh, the Silver Fangs, but they did fuck all about it.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
guy.
So we've discussed. Oh no, they don't say that. They say they got Fenris. They didn't take over Rome. We did. They said we were the ones who infiltrated Rome, and we were the ones who destroyed Rome, and we were the ones who chased out the Ventru. We have gone through, and Ryan, we've gone through all these other trap books. Does that story match with any other trap book?
Absolutely not. No.
No. You look at the Shadow Lords, Black Furies, Children of Gaia, and Glasswalkers. They were the infiltrators, and it was the Fianna and Geta Fenris who took down Rome. The Silver Fangs take full credit for all 6 of those tribes.
Was it really the Fianna? Let's be fair here.
Well, it was the White Howlers until they got turned, and then everything else went to shit after.
Well, actually, yeah, I did forget to credit the Right Howlers.
Yeah. Don't forget our old friends.
So they gave the order, yeah, Rome must die, but we're not going to lift a finger about it. We're instead going to sit on a throne and just point at you and say, you go kill the Centurion force. You go kill the senator. If you fail, we'll behead you. That was the scheme. Great plan, right?
I mean, it worked. Rome fell.
They also talk about going into the Byzantine Empire, looking for a mage, this Malfian mage, who are the Malfians are a sect of the Nefandi, the mages who are evil and worship evil for the sake of evil, but they specifically worship the worm. They only got involved in Byzantium because there was a Malfian who is specifically killing falcons. But yeah, that's the one and only time the Silver Fangs actually got boots on the ground and fought against the Empire. Besides that, they're just delegating. I say that in quotation marks. I fucking hate it when I'm told by management that, like, from any job I've ever worked in my life, like, delegation. That's just you saying that you're not going to lift a finger because you're the boss. Where, yeah, I get it. If you're working, you're not leading, you're not checking everyone else. But at the same time, if you see your employees struggling, lift a hand, lift a finger.
Definitely.
If you see your staff members, if you see your teammates doing stuff like that, chip in. Oh my god.
Yeah, I have some managers like that in my current job where they just tell us to do things and then they just kind of sit there and do their office work.
You go into the office and then like literally you can just get ChatGPT to do all of this in 10 years.
They probably will eventually, but that's besides the point. But yeah, they delegate. They don't really do anything.
Eventually, we'll live in a world with no managers and we'll all be AI.
And what the fuck will we do? Sit here playing fucking Werewolf?
As a glassworker, I am perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I for one welcome our new Weaver overlords.
Yes, I'd rather take orders from a computer. I would rather have our United States president be a computer than a person.
That's probably not too far off in the future.
Where would that put me on the political compass if I was like a technological monarchist?
Independent?
No, that'd still be north towards authoritarian, but it'd just be like right in the middle. It'd just
To
be
be
like,
fair,
what's up?
I don't know much about politics, so I was just guessing.
Yeah, fair. I think that's just straight authoritarian, like, because, you know, the computer is all knowing and can't be questioned because it already asked every question to itself, so it knows every answer. Therefore, it is entirely infallible and therefore should rule the world, is the mindset.
I think in World of Darkness, that Iteration X might be onto something.
Maybe.
Going along with this, seeing what else we got. Looking at my notes. So where do these guys live around this time? Russia is the main base. Here we go again, Russia, Russia. In name only. The Shell Lords are the ones who really control this area, but the Silver Fangs just decide we want to set our big damn castle here. We want to build a castle. We want to rule from here in a completely isolated part of the world where we're not in the middle of any major conflict. And well, I think that goes to show how good they were at leadership. We're going to put our castle away from the fights. We're not going to be in the Middle East. We're not going to be in Africa. We're not going to be in Europe. We're just going to sit over here.
Well, I mean, who builds their castle in an active war zone?
See, typically, well, that'll be called a fortress then.
Yes.
And at the same time, like these guys like could like show a little bit better that like they care. Like maybe have a Surfang come in and be Marquis de Lafayette and say, I'm going to teach you guys how to win a war. Here's how you do it. But no, we don't get Surfangs like that. Years go by and these guys are doing fuck all, just sitting there like with their thumbs up their asses spinning around on them. And they say, hey, the New World, it's pretty cool. Look at that New World over there. Let's head on over to it. No. Behold, dragons. We now have dragons. The Zhmei, who are these Russian dragons from Russian folklore, who are these big, damn, long dragons with some come with legs, some don't, but they look like snakes with dragon heads. So, behold, we can't come to the New World. We finally have something to do because we're here fighting these big damn snake monsters, and we're trying to figure out who summoned them. It's a fun creature, right?
Yeah. Kind of fucked up.
I honestly really do like this part about the story because the Zhmei are a really cool idea that I wish they did like a little more with. You do have Rage Across Russia. Let me show you one of these guys too. This guy was so cool up. We're using him in the 3.5 project. Gregornus Deathwing.
That's a fucking tight name, dude.
See,
all right, where's
you want to look at his
There's
picture?
Yes,
An
please.
amazing name.
Yeah, that's his face.
That is scary looking, dude. Fucking feast your eyes. He's just a
Ominous.
shadow.
Imagine this guy, and like he's 50 feet long.
Yeah, that
Ruslan,
is
that you?
terrifying.
This is Ruslan Maximov's true form.
Yes.
Final form.
Yeah, it scared a shit
Yes,
out of me.
So finally they have something to do after years of just telling other people what to do. And as time goes on, yeah, they're fighting all these different monsters, and by the time they finish fighting, behold, the Shadow Lords have done your job for you by giving the Ucten and the Wendigo puppies of the Litany. The Croatan have already done the sacrifice. You did fuck all about it. I mean, granted, you were fighting snake monsters, but at the same time, you couldn't have sent anybody to the Pure Lands. The Uctena do blame the Surfangs for not doing enough, but at the same time, the Surfangs had their own problems, and maybe they went off around the same time. Maybe this was a Black Spiral Dancer psyop where we're going to release these snake monsters and then create this massive schism. Behold, we're playing this big schizo post long game. That's not the case. That didn't happen.
Probably not. No.
The Black Spirals aren't that smart.
No, they're deadly, but they're not smart.
And around this time, they think, why is our kinfolk Louis XV dead, and this guy called Napoleon Bonaparte is now saying he controls France? What happened? We were fighting dragons so long we just completely forgot about history. We've been asleep under a rock fighting all these dragons for 400 years, and we missed the Protestant Reformation, we missed the Black Plague, we missed the American Revolution, and now we missed the French Revolution.
Yeah, they're having
And
a great time with that.
as our favorite soy boy Justin likes to say, Justin Sheely, that they get famous on the fascist wolves. Get a load of this. The Silver Fangs say that the peasants, the Bonars, had no place overthrowing French monarchy, and that they did whatever they could to reimpose a French monarchical rule, and were gladly stepping on the necks of anyone who got in their way. Behold, the Silver Fangs are now actively working against their own.
I mean, the Shadow Lords do the same. Yeah, the Shadow Lords do the same. So
The Shadow Lords, at least, try to handle collateral damage. No, the Silver Fangs make it perfectly clear they want to step on your necks. That's what they want. And around the time, House Winter Snow, you remember the Fiona story, that worm corrupted house that had been worm corrupted for years?
Yep.
Completely denied. The Silver Fangs denied that ever happened.
Basically, yeah.
It's,
Untenwicked.
They say no. They not only say that there was no House Winter Snow, they said they just had no house in Ireland at all. And behold, the Fianna would like to contest that, say, yes, you did have boots in Ireland. Yes, you were ruining our lives. So now we have rulers who aren't talking to their own, are actively working against their own, and are now gaslighting you about what they've done.
It's a lot of
You know
abusive
you're a horrible
relationships.
leader. You know you're a horrible leader if you are making the Ventrue look saintly. Vampire Clan Ventrue. Oh my god, dude. I'm looking at these guys and holy shit, the Silver Fangs. By the way, Russian Revolution, the Silver Fangs want to take credit for Lenin. They say that the Shadow Lords had no connection to Vladimir Lenin. It was them who began the Russian Revolution. And, well, they say that, but the real story is that the Children of Gaia ran over and told the Silver Fangs, you might want to look out. Tsar Nicholas the Second is going to die soon, and you need to keep an eye out. And the Silver Fangs said, bullshit. There's no way Tsar Nicholas II is ever going to die. And behold, Russian history happens.
Yep.
And
Nicholas
once
II
that
is
happens,
gunned down in his cellar with his entire family.
the Bruja are the face of this. And instead of seeing the Shadow Lords who are puppeteering the whole thing because the Shadow Lords decide that they're going to use communism as their next weapon, the Bruja are running around. That's all the Silver Fangs see. And instead of owning up for their own failure, they blame the Children of Gaia for the Russian Revolution, order the Red Talons to execute every child of Gaia in Russia, and then they turn around, redact that from public records, and say, oh, it was actually part of our long game plan to dispose of the Tsar and reinstate a new rulership.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Yeah. This sounds like the perfect kind of boss, right?
You know, look, forget 7 years. Whoever wrote this book sounds like they've been in the rulership position for 77 fucking years. He's got just mental illness times 10.
It's
Absolutely. And of course,
it's a Malkavian follower.
Yeah, honestly.
It's actually a vampire in disguise.
I'm gonna take a drink. And of course, these guys want to say that they were involved in World War II. They weren't. They weren't. Once again, you were just in Russia, you were just in France, you were just in the United Kingdom, just pointing your finger, not doing a damn thing. And the last thing they really have to talk about, Baba Yaga. They finally found the person summoning all those damn dragons. It is a Niktuku, a Nosferatu who's old as hell and was sired by Absimiliard. He is this evil witch who's been in contact with the worm for millennia, and has decided that she is going to destroy the gauntlet and destroy the world at the same time. And she's going to do so by summoning dragons. And these dragons start going around destroying the Russian countryside. You've already got Boris Yeltsin doing the thing in Russia around this time. This is 1991. So now's not a very good time to be Russian. Now's not a very bad time to be a Russian peasant. And the Silver Fangs finally get boots on the ground and start fighting the Zhmei. Because now the Zhmei are absolutely everywhere in Russia. And they have to call the Black Furies and the Galliard. And I mentioned those two tribes because they are the only tribes who come to help the Silver Fangs. Everyone else says, up yours, we're not going along with anything you say. So, Baba Yaga, by the way, by the time that the Silver Fangs and Glassworkers finally reach her shack, she's already dead. Behold, Vasilisa, another Niktuku, got to her before you could.
That's just embarrassing.
And that is a 10-year campaign gone up in smoke with the credits stolen by the very same vampire clan that started the whole thing.
Yeah, fuck these
Vasilisa,
guys.
by the fucking way. Vasilisa, by the way, let me show you the picture. Is a literal child.
Yeah, she's just a fucking kid. Look at that. She's adorable.
It's supposed to be a boy. It's supposed to be a boy.
Oh, well, they drew a very feminine young man there.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of like the thing too, because Vasilisa is a trickster with Russian folklore. We can go into about it later when we do the Nosferatu episode I want to do.
Makes sense.
Also, Silver Fangs, would you like to explain what's going on in this picture?
Actually, yeah, I need some explanation for that as well.
I don't think that is the Silver Fangs. I think that's the Shadow Lords. We did the Shadow Lords in person. You remember the masks?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that mushrooms?
No, those are apples. I think.
I was thinking it was apples.
Apples?
Is it apples or
Jesus.
mushroom?
They look like
See,
mushrooms.
It's a big. See,
I see like a
the
stem on one
poison-
of them or something.
It's the poison apple from Snow White.
I guess he's got like 6 of them. I don't think that's gonna be enough, even for fucking Niktuku.
She's gonna start the red elephant like Marceline from Adventure Time.
Yes.
I think this is the Charlord like contacting Vasilisa and starting the masks, the camp of Charlords from the first edition that I really wish was explored, but now we got the wrong writer for that book. Chris Campbell, God bless you, but I really wish Brian Campbell wrote that book instead.
I would like to point out, I actually really like the art style in this image here because it kind of reminds me of those books, scary stories to tell in the dark. Like, just look at how freaky this Shadow Lord looks.
Yeah, well, at the same time, it's metal after a Russian woodcut, the way you're looking at it.
Yeah, it looks messed up.
Yeah. So, behold, we have the scariest werewolf tribe contact the scariest vampire clan.
Yes.
Enough about the Niktuku. So, behold, Kyle, I think that's the one and only tribe we've ever talked about that has had no accomplishments amongst history.
Yes, the Silver Fangs, they said, hey, our great grandfathers talked to Luna, and then to Helios, and then to Falcon, and then to Helios again, and then to Luna. So we're in charge now, I guess. And then they proceeded to do fuck all about it.
It should have been the Black Furies. It should have been the Fianna. It should have been the Galliard. It should have been the Shadow Lords. And it's going to be the Uktena once the Uktena get their way. But it could have been anyone but you got to Luna and Helios before anyone else could. And that's why you're in the leadership position. You did one thing way back when, and you hold that one accomplishment of your head. This is like a guy in his 50s who keeps talking about his glory days. His glory days was when he played football when he was 18. And that's all he talks about. Behold, you now have the guy who says, I would have gone pro if I hadn't busted my knee in senior year of high school playing football. That's essentially what the Silver Fangs are.
Yes. And now they're fed with a beer gut. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, so caught up in the past.
They are. And now they're 50
It's
years
all they've
old.
got.
They got a beer gut, and they got a Camaro that they haven't paid off yet.
And what I would like to add, this is the most unqualified leadership faction in World of Darkness. Because when you look at the different splats, Vampire has the Ventru, Mage the Ascension has the Order of Hermes. The nine traditions are kind of losing their leadership, but I think we can form a consensus that the Order of Hermes are in charge.
Yeah, that
And the
sounds fair.
She control changing to dreaming. They have supporters in their splats. Not everybody likes them, but they have friends. The Silver Fangs, as we have gone through all of these books, Kyle, have no tribe that has anything nice to say about them.
Yes. Like, the Black Furies will still, like, acknowledge them, as we said. We haven't gotten into the Get Ephemeris yet, but literally nobody likes these guys. They're like, yeah, their time's past. They gotta fucking go.
You can have Ventru and Bruja work together. They can do that. You can't have Red Talons and Actena and Wendigo work with Silver Fangs.
Yes.
You can't have that because they just hate them that strongly.
Yes. A Ventru can go up to a Bruja and say, hey, we need to install something over there. Go destabilize it for us. And they'll be like, cool, we like destabilizing things.
It's that the Ventru know what to say and when to say it. And everybody agrees that the Ventru do better because leadership just comes naturally to a Ventru. And all the other clans in the Camarilla know that things aren't going to go as well if a Ventru isn't in charge. The Ventru, love them or hate them, have respect and skill. The Surfangs have none of that. And we have gone through these tribe books and we have looked at several tribes that are saying they're just waiting for these guys to die. And on top of that, we have tribes who are now usurping their control. The Shadow Lords control Russia from the shadows. The Glasswalkers are ready to split from the Garo Nation at any time. The Children of Gaia have stolen their thunder by making more progress with the War for Gaia than the Surfangs ever did. And the Actena have solutions to prevent the apocalypse that the Surfangs have done nothing to research. What have you done? What have you done? You wonder why the Stargazers walked out on you. You wonder.
Yeah. I mean, you spend so much of your time hunting for dragons, you miss all the other things that are about ready to kill you.
And you know something. You've read the Book of Exodus. You have read Plato's Republic, right?
The Book of Exodus, yes. The Plato's Republic, no.
Plato's Republic was ultimately, I swear it's like Plato making like a Sam Hyde shit post where he says, me and my philosopher buddy should be in charge. But he does bring up a good point that there shouldn't be elections. Instead, a leader needs to select a leader, his successor, who's going to take over. But you have the Surfangs who aren't doing that. And the successor who should be chosen, according to the Republic, is somebody who doesn't want to rule, but would make a good ruler. And that's the same with the Book of Exodus. When you look at Moses, he didn't want to be the leader of the Hebrews. Aaron took control as the mouthpiece, and Aaron is partially responsible for running the Hebrew nation into the ground in the Book of Exodus with the golden calf and
Yes.
all the other mistakes he made. And it's the people who don't want to lead are the ones who should be leaders. The people who want to lead have no business being leaders.
Exactly. Because they'll just keep everything to themselves.
Oh my gosh.
This is why I like the Fianna so much.
It's like a blood boiling moment when you read about these guys, because holy shit. We haven't even gotten to the worst part about them yet.
Yeah, so...
The incest.
Oh, yeah, that. Yes, that.
They are
So,
knee deep in each other.
No question.
so you want to know why Falcon, as a meta reason, you want to know why he was selected as the totem?
Why?
It's because I think I'm saying their name right. The Ptolemaic had the Falcon as their icon animal, and as we know about the Ptolemaics, who were a kingdom that existed in ancient Egypt, were heavily inbred. I wonder why
Well.
you only lasted 250 years.
Yeah, they just you doing here? Let me pull up the picture that I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna copy it, put it in actually I'll put it in meme chat. You already beat me to
already
it.
beat you to it.
I will put this up on the screen. This is the typical Silver Fang family tray right here.
This is blurry. I found this on a repost on Reddit. I am not going to the original artist and copying that because I don't want that on my hard drive or my history.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Like part of me thinks it was like somebody's like fetish content. I'm like I kind of feel nasty with the screen on the screen.
More than likely, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh god,
But
it's hard to look at.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to
we're both cringing now.
yeah. So that's the typical Silver Fang family tree because they don't want to taint their lineage with peasant blood. God forbid.
You want to know whose order that is? Falcons.
Really?
Yes. And
that picture
this gets a little fucked up.
Yes.
It is. And you want to know how fucked up it gets? There was one Silver Fang, Ayana Spechnikova, who, when she died, the Silver Fangs wanted to get her spirit to reincarnate as soon as possible. So they started impregnating the prepubescent members of their tribe in order to get another Ayana Spechnikova.
Jesus Christ.
You wonder why that house was put to death by the Shadow Lords when that was discovered.
Well, yeah. You're going to create, something even more fucked up than a Midas. You're also going to get worm corrupted for that.
That is a Setite mood with what you did with the...
Yes. The Shadow Lords were right to kill you for that.
Yes.
Jesus.
We cannot wait for the day that the Shadow Lords or the 810 kill every last one of you.
Yes, and then maybe the rest of the Gara can actually, make some fucking progress or something like that.
On top of that, there's the whole racism behind the tribe too. This tribe is like openly racist. There can be black members of the Gala Fenris. You just need to be badass to be a Gala Fenris. You need to be white to be a Silver Fang.
Well, yeah, they're all silver.
Yes. Yeah, that whole like press bloodline. Focus on the whole eugenics aspect that Falcon keeps wanting to push too.
Yeah. So the real fascists here are the Silver Fangs.
I wonder why none of the other tribes mentioned you participating in World War II. It's because you were fully on board with the race theories of Hitler at the time.
Yeah. I will say though, it's kind of a damn shame the Silver Fangs suck because this image for the book, this cover that I have on the screen, looks fucking awesome.
That's how they see themselves.
Yes.
When you play as a Silver Fang, you are a complete you're like Don Quixote. You think you're badass. You think you're the coolest thing in the world, but everyone else around you sees you as the joke that you are. But you refuse to hear that. And if anyone calls you a joke, if anyone disrespects your authority, you kill them. Or you do some other form of punishment. You want to say that you're from this great line of warriors, and some of you were pretty badass. Jacob Morningkill is, he had his years, and Jason Albrecht, well, he is pretty badass. When you read the books of Werewolf the Apocalypse, Jason Albrecht more like by himself kind of like redeems his tribe with all the stuff that he manages to accomplish. But at the same time, when you're only good for a fight and you don't really have anything else to your name, we can only love you so much, dude.
Yes. Okay.
So when you play as these guys, you are a mad emphasis on the Mad King. Everyone in this tribe is horribly deranged already because the inbreeding has gotten that bad. You are expected to die of old age at 35. Very few Silver Fangs ever get to their 60s. And the average year expectancy for a Silver Fang is 35. Granted, not that many Garou live very long because you are a group that is constantly at war, but, if you're in a leadership position, you're just going to spontaneously drop dead with or without the Shadow Lords poisoning your drink.
Yeah, they're the most doomed out of all the tribes.
Yeah. And by this point, it probably is too late to save them. And let's talk about their apocalypse scenario now. Let's do it now.
Well, I mean, that's
So,
pretty obvious at this point.
in Times of Judgment Apocalypse, they go to Falcon and they say, we are looking at Wormwood. We're looking at the red star in the sky, and we notice as a moment of the end times. Can you talk to Luna and Helios on our behalf and temporarily get rid of our insanity? And Falcon says, you have 1 year, and I will do this for you. Your mission is to kill the Black Spiral Dancers. And the clock starts. And the Silver Fangs start this massive campaign where, credible enough, they chase the Black Spiral Dancers into Malpheus and manage to genocide the entire clan. They kill the BSDs, dude.
Really? After all the shit we've talked, they finally pull it together.
They managed to do that, but as it turns out,
absolutely they do.
There was an ulterior motive to it. They didn't do that because they wanted to kill the worm. No. They realized they had been played for years. They realized that Luna, Helios, and probably the dead body of Gaia have been laughing at them the entire time. They're watching that this god-ordained dynasty has been losing ground for years to Shadow Lords, the Fianna, every other tribe is looking up to each other instead of you. Nobody cares about you anymore. Nobody's listening to anything you have to say. You have as much authority as the Queen and King of England. You're King Charles III. Nobody gives a fuck about you besides wine mobs. And everybody is just waiting for you to kill over so somebody younger or newer or a different idea can take your place. And we know that nothing you say matters. So they say, fuck everything. Fuck all of you. We're joining the worm. They make a pact with the worm in Malpheus and become the Fiery Crown. They come out of Malpheus with their fur now a brilliant glowing white, their eyes glowing flames, and halos of fire are around their heads, and wings of fire are coming out of their back. And now there are these burning angels of death going around with fire powers, destroying everything, starting from Scotland and spreading out. And these guys cause a shitload of damage. Like, they pretty much, like, that one war campaign they do, from attacking from multiple theaters, almost cause the apocalypse by themselves doing that. And that is such a badass image. Like, seeing, like Death Angel werewolves coming out, like, on fire, smiting you from the sky.
Like, I was thinking of just a dope metal soundtrack playing over that. That's metal as fuck.
You can have All Nightmare Long playing in the background. So, yeah, Ryan, you see that even when they do something right, they manage to do one massive fuck up at the end.
It's typical. It's just, that's just a normal thing.
That is how it
there really is no saving the Silver Fangs.
No, they need to go. They need to take your meds, Grandpa, and go to bed.
Absolutely.
I said, Grandpa, like, you're barely old enough to be my older brother. Go to bed.
And those pills are laced with 500 milligrams of fentanyl, and he will not wake up after taking them.
Oh, good. All right, now let's figure out what we're gonna do. Now that the problem's out of the way.
These are the creation of the Weaver for the people of the Weaver. Thanks be to the Weaver.
All right.
Let's go into houses.
Yes. So, the weird thing about the Silver Fangs is that in every other tribe, we've talked about camps, as in different ways people go about things. As far as camps go, they only have, let me count them because there aren't that many. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 camps.
5.
Yeah, 5 camps. That's it. What's far more numerous and what took me all goddamn morning to write were notes on the houses, because there are a lot more houses than there are camps. So we're gonna start with houses. Starting off the list, we have, and I'm actually gonna put this up on the screen so you can follow along at home. House Wormfoe. So House Wormfoe was officially declared sometime in the 13th century and was built as a Garrow safe haven from the Inquisition. Initially, it was believed that the Inquisition was the work of the Eater of Souls, which they later found that to be, it turned out to be the Defiler Worm, but none of them knew they existed yet. So basically, they were based in Spain, France, and Holland, Catholic strongholds. That was the height of the Inquisition. And they eventually spread to England to claim territory lost by the austere Hal in the future. And in this house, most of Wormfoe's best left for the New World in the aftermath of the Inquisition. And it is by far the youngest house of the Silver Fangs, and eventually came to be recognized as a single bloodline capable of rulership. The Wormfoe blood has been assumed lost until they believed that they heard on the field of battle a worm use their battlefield cry as, quote, "Vile wolf." So this house represents the modern trend to overlook bloodline, which they should be fucking doing. Wormfoe, therefore, there's a fly on my wall, and he's flying all over the place. Sorry, I'm being distracted by a guy in spirit. Wormfoe
fly.
Yes, Wormfoe is known for the number of mavericks and bold individualist kings within the Silver Fangs, if there were any, and they somehow seem to have escaped the curse of the betrayed moon, that being not being able to use their moon bridge. And as Nightmane speaks, after they've escaped the curse of the betrayed moon longer than any other, by refusing leadership roles over territories for so long, as we said earlier, attacking the worm, and you avoided notice. But eventually she caught up to you, as illustrated by this character, King Jacob Morningkill, as his man this was plain for all to see. Anything about King Jacob Morningkill?
So Jacob Morningkill was a fucking psychopath.
Okay.
He was the guy who took office in... I say like he's president. He took the throne in 1945 and did not leave that throne until 1994. So imagine what this guy was thinking every day. So I've told you why I hate the NCR in Fallout New Vegas. You remember talking to Kimball in Fallout New Vegas?
Yeah, shitty president.
He's this glory hound who wants to do this massive final battle, but the only way you get a final battle or last stand is when you have eliminated every other base of your enemy. So he is just constantly sending out person after person to die in his name, and he's causing all this death. He's sending so many people on suicide missions that he's too stupid to realize that they are suicide missions. And he has a whole kingdom set up in New York, and for years and years, he is just causing his own nation to collapse until, a blessing in disguise, he's killed by the Black Spiral Dancers by poisoning. Oh wait, no, it's not poisoning. No, he's stabbed to death by the Black Spirals.
They kind of... Look, the Black Spirals just needed to sit back and let him keep doing his thing, if that's the case.
You seriously should have just left him alone. You would have won the apocalypse had you just left him be.
Yes.
Right.
Moving on from that, we have the Clan Crescent Moon. What's up?
Ryan didn't have an idea?
Oh, I just said right. I was agreeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Clan Crescent Moon.
The rare BSDW.
Yes. Anyway, so they were built from a very old tradition, as far as the book told, and they were most prominent for most of history. They were the height of the Silver Fang Elan, and they fell during the trials of the Hag's reign, that being the massive dragon attack for 80 years. The Crescent Moon King eventually went mad and dissolved the Lodge of the Sun. Why is unknown. Scissions arose to retake their honor and defeat the monsters that served Hag, and it was said that Queen Tamara Tavarovich, I think we mentioned her before, and Arcady were instrumental in doing so. Arcady did some wrong in his history, as the book points out, to House Wormfoe, but they remain hospitable as a form of truce between them. It seems that
As for what
What's up?
for what for what Arcady is, Arcady Iceclaw. I actually do like his picture. I'm gonna pull this one up for you.
Yep.
Let's see, copy this. He's got his own trading card. Did you know that World of Darkness had their own card game? It failed financially. Here it is.
I mean, it does look pretty cool. Okay.
It does look a little distinguished in this.
Sick as fuck.
Gain an ally.
As
If
for
recruited, Arcady will still be wounded from all but the killing blow.
As for who he is the arch enemy of Jacob Morningkill. No, I'm sorry, Jonas Albrecht. And I think I've been calling him Jacob Albrecht this entire time. No,
Yeah, I
it's
think
Jonas
so.
Albrecht. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah, Arcady keeps saying that he should be the king, that he has all this experience, that he fights underhanded. He acts like a Shadow Lord, funny enough. And there's this whole like plot that goes on in the books about their rivalry between the two, where eventually he does end up losing the whole fight only because he ends up sacrificing himself in the massive fight against the dragon. So, behold, Jonas, you get the crown by default.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. So, moving on from with Clan Crescent Moon goodness, they seem to be strong once again and have regained their passion. Not sure how much passion they got left in them, but they will try. Okay, moving on from that, we have the Gleaming Eye. The Gleaming Eye are kind of neat. They because they're sort of like the investigators of the Silver Fangs, just to root out corruption. They ruled Northern Europe since well before it was known as Northern Europe. They wandered mostly around France, Germany, and Scandinavia. Currently, Calvin de Provence is the ruling king from Belgium, and his sister had vanished on a journey into the Umbra. Since then, they've increased their vigilance against worm taint, and they basically go to different houses and different camps and make sure that they are free of worm taint. They need that unity more than ever. So the Gleaming Eye hold their fame in remaining as pure from the worm taint or moon curse as possible, and their vigilance against the worm aids the other houses. However, they are starting to grow wary of taint within, and they might start to eat away at themselves if any worm taint finds its way into the Gleaming Eye. After that, we mentioned them earlier, the Austerie Howl. It is believed they have fallen to worm taint, and they believe that the taint came from human kinfolk involved in worm cults. In England, they engaged in Hellfire Club-style rituals to an entity they refer to as Red Jack. And in the during... What's up?
Probably didn't exist. He probably didn't exist.
What, Red Jack?
Yeah, that guy's not real. It's just a hallucination.
Really? It says later in the book that these worm cults were caught by a mixed pat of Get, Fianna, and Glasswalkers, and the scandal had torn the house apart. Some families involved with the kinfolk families aided them in the worm worship, even still. Queen Mary tried to run the Austerior Howl out of the clan, but failed to do so, and the Gleaming Eye took notice shortly after. So Queen Mary's court afterward was forced underground, and it is rumored the Red Jack spirit is still around and attacked the Dublin Fianna cairn. Some people wonder still if Queen Mary is or is not worm tainted. We still don't know, and we also don't know where she is. Perhaps she's hiding in the Umbra, trying to rally them, or she's gone to reside in Malpheus. We are unsure.
Just fucking.
Yeah, there's a lot
you guys
of
lost your damn mind. That's what happened.
There's a lot of did we not, are they not. There's a lot of shiftiness in this book, and it's really hard to decipher.
Think they know anymore.
No,
they know anymore.
They probably don't. And then we have the Unbreakable Hearth. They are one of the most steadfast houses, one of the first ones to migrate to the New World as well. They originally came from France, Spain, Switzerland, and Hungary, and they now claim lands in Canada and North America. They set their power in cities close to kinfolk. However, the troubles in Chicago tested them, but they came out on top as the leech plots there attempted to try and undermine them and destroy them. But but since they are in the New World, they have long been recognized as a role facilitator between other tribes. Although they have done little as of late to quell any intertribal conflicts, they're sort of just kind of out there. But they're good talk, but short on action, as the book reads. They used to be good negotiators, settling disputes, but they just aren't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And now you were actually, for this next one, I'd like to point out, John, you were actually planning on making a full Indian werewolf tribe, right?
Yeah.
What were you going to call them?
The Saman Vion.
The Salanvaya. Well, there is...
Because...
What's up?
I could have just called them the Harmonizers, because that's what that translates to in English. But it's my bane to differentiate Silent Strider, Silver Fangs, Shadow Lord when I'm talking about them all at the same time. So I need a name that's got a different, consonant connotation in order to differentiate all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, continue.
Well, there is actually a house of the Silver Fangs that is based in India. That is the Blood Red Crest, and they suffer from a terrible tragedy. Their clan has not birthed a new cub in 5 years, and because of their dwindling population, they have lost many cairns in India to both the Worm and the Weaver. They need one final battle to prove themselves and try and ensure that they can hold strong. King Nair of this tribe has avoided the moon curse, but now has a different curse of sterile lineage. It would be wise to investigate what exactly is going on with them, why they have become sterile.
And behold, that's your beginning for a campaign. And I wonder how much you accomplish.
Oh yeah, what's up?
What? See,
5 years is just a little too long.
Yes.
And I wonder how much work you accomplish. I wonder why the Naga from Clan Book Naga have nothing nice to say about you.
Yeah, it's quite literally like that movie Children of Men. It's like a sterile apocalypse. It's honestly a lot freakier than you'd think about.
I'm pulling in the Naga book right now. I'm going to get a cross reference on these guys because India's taken over, quote unquote, by snake people, the Naga. So I'm gonna pull this up while we're talking about this.
All right, you want me to keep going then?
Yeah, keep going. It's gonna take me a minute to find what I'm looking for.
All right. So, next, the Wise Heart. They are the strangest house among the Silver Fangs. Although they might be following the Blood Red Crest into a similar loss, because they likewise have lost a lot of their cairns. Once one of the more prominent houses in Russia, but many of them died fighting the Hag. Originally, they were based in Italy and Greece. They represented, and then became represented by Septs and Turkey in the Middle East. Their numbers are few, and Lupus are even fewer. They hold great amounts of wisdom. King Tariki was of the camp Ivory Priesthood, and might know the secret of death handed down from the first wolf. He travels to the Umbra very frequently, so it's clear that he must know either the secret of death or the secret of kingship. We'll get into this later, but the Silver Fangs are huge on their secrets, and it's usually a very key secret that they're after. The secret of death, the secret of kingship, and there is actually a rite that we'll get into later about it. I'll talk a bit more about the different secrets later on in the episode. And then we get into the more tragic part of it, and we go into detail as to why this tribe is on the way out. Is the lost houses. There are houses that have been lost to time. First, we have the Conquering Claw. It killed itself through its own insane infighting. Go figure. They never fully recovered from the fall of Rome, even though they did fuck all about it. They gained...
These guys deserved their deaths. Deserved how they had it coming.
Yes.
Do not shed no tears for them.
They gained the enmity of many undead, and the leeches had basically waged guerrilla warfare against the conquering claw. And then they made the mistake of using Italian banks in order to hide the resources, which made them even further thrall for vampires. What few of them survived the Renaissance eventually killed themselves in duels and poisonings. And one of them might have lived and defeated his madness, but it's likely that they are all dead. Oh, did you find that note about the Naga?
Still looking.
Okay, the next is the Ice Pack. This one's kind of neat, actually, because it ties into some Wendigo lore as well. They are rumored to still be alive in parts of the Barren North, or they might be materialized ancestor spirits. The narrator really isn't sure. If the Ice Pack can be found and healed, can they be healed of mental illness? Probably not. But they are believed to be pure and untarnished. They took no part in the War of Rage, and it's likely they take lineage from Silver Fang and Wendigo. And it's rumored that sometimes a spirit can impregnate a kinfolk wolf, which could be promising in order to reinvigorate this pack in the future. Following that, another...
That's the thing.
What's up?
I mean, that's the thing. We have the back and tease. We have the background with the Wendigo.
Yes.
So there we go.
And following that, we also have the Winter Snow. They bear our shame and are an example to all kings of the price of power. Again, go figure. They were the ones who wore the silver crown and decimated all of their English allies in the Get Ephemeris and the Fianna, allowing the Black Spirals to come in from the north unopposed. And they eventually succumbed to Hirano shortly after. Fuck no! They were worm corrupted, and we and the Get Ephemeris fucking killed them. And you did nothing about it. Fuck you.
It's a damn lie, fat. That's a damn lie, fat, and you know it.
Exactly. And then we have the Golden Sky. The Golden Sky may even be mightier than the Crescent Moon. Their disappearance is a mystery. It is rumored they migrated into the Umbral... Well, actually, no. They migrated to the Umbral Realm on a mission from Helios, or they just went insane. Either is likely. They whisper that it was Luna's revenge for making the pact with Helios, and some hold on to hope that they'll one day return. Did the Golden Sky sacrifice themselves to the betrayed moon to end the curse? Probably not. Perhaps they just failed an Umbral test, or they have joined Helios in the Celestial Realms. Optimistic thinking. And then there are the Unknown, who initiated the War of Rage, and their sheer cruelty in hunting other shapeshifters offended Gaia, so she'd remove them from the world. That's fucking untrue. Like, we know Gaia had no problem with the War of Rage.
Absolutely not.
The Unnamed. Formerly, or actually otherwise known as the Silver Spiral, and they are now the Dukes of the Worm's army. And their whole purpose of being is to go and corrupt other Silver Fangs. That's about it.
If you see a Silver Fang who's got green glowing tattoos and green eyes, that's one of them.
Yeah, basically.
And notice how many of those houses are making progress.
Yeah, all of them are either, like, kind of sort of there or already dead.
Compare that to leaps and bounds we have seen the Lords of the Summit make with the Shadow Lords.
Yes. They're fucking it up over there, man. They're just tearing it up. They're having a good time in Russia.
And as I have this, I've almost found the information I'm looking for. So Ryan, actually now I'm thinking about, should we even give a fuck about the lodges, because they've been dissolved according to the meta plot.
I mean, I wrote a couple of quick notes about it. Like, each Silver Fang is encouraged to join either the Lodge of the Sun or the Lodge of the Moon after their first change. Some never choose and therefore never rise in rank, as they cannot be trusted with the commitments of an important post. Usually a king's court consists of his advisors from both lodges and his personal seneschal, usually comprised of a shaman, a steward, and a squire. The shaman leads each of the lodges, the steward ensures that the orders are carried out, and the squires maintain the lodge's possessions and lore. The king of all werewolves is usually of neither lodge, and is therefore the balance of the Celestials, usually in a rune, but sometimes they elect a Ragabash to do so. Not a whole lot about it, just to make sure that both the sun and the moon are being appeased. That's basically the short of it.
Behold, I have your Naga information. So,
Yes.
checking with them, the guys who are living in India, who are the secret police of Gaia, so they are keeping tabs on this, don't bring up the Silver Fangs once when talking about India.
Oh, yeah?
Nope. Instead, they say that's Ratkin territory along with theirs. And along with that, see, let's go down to where they start talking about the girl. The Fenrir and the Silver Fangs build empires proudly on stacks of shapeshifter bones. That's what they have to say about them.
Well, they did.
Yeah. And as they're looking, yeah, it seems they don't even acknowledge the authority of the Silver Fangs in this book.
Gee, I wonder why.
Look at page 60 and 61, and given that the picture is a Naga strangling a Geru to death.
Oh, wait, actually? That's kind of tight. Can we see that or no?
Yeah, so... See, I'll try to get a copy of that. But,
we've been talking a long time. Do you want me to take a break from houses and camps and let Ryan do something?
Ryan, I sent you something.
Ryan's
you want to keep going before you say something?
don't matter to me. I wasn't able to find like the different types of relationships between them, but I do have 6 gifts picked out. 5 gifts.
Yeah, we can take a break and do
6.
gifts.
Let's do gifts now. Let's go against typical grain. Let's do gifts right now.
All right. Keeping with that vibe, I'm going to start with a rank 6
All right.
and work my way down.
Cool.
So they only had 1 rank 6, and that's Renew the Cycle. One of the most potent powers available to the Geru, this gift allows the correction of a grievous wrong to the natural cycle of Gaia. The undead, whose very existence is an affront to the natural order of things, wither and crumble to dust when struck by the power of this gift. Whether the undead is shambling, month-old animated corpse, or an ancient vampire, the Fang can destroy it with but a glance. Only an avatar of Helios.
I think it should say or, but they mistyped it.
I think so, yeah. Or Gaia herself can teach this gift. I was like, 2 ofs in the same sentence doesn't make sense.
No.
This don't look quite right.
The Geru and the victim enter into a resisted contest of Gnosis versus Willpower, both difficulty 8. The Geru must spend 3 permanent Gnosis points.
Jesus.
Oh, that's a steep cost.
Yeah, it is.
The Wrath of Gaia. If the Geru wins the contest, the vampire or other undead is reduced to its natural state. Elder vampires turn to dust, whereas freshly exhumed corpses lose their animation. This gift forces mummies into a dead season of sleep, but does not destroy them. Interesting.
It seems like a worse version of Damn the Heart Flood.
Yeah, all this work they have to do just to copy a fraction of our strength.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Let me pull up that
Put
Nagat
on
picture
the
first,
screen.
because that looks pretty
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's metal as
You
shit,
can't-
dude.
You can't reason with a snake, man.
No, that looks
You got-
awesome.
You got another snake burrowing into this werewolf's ribs too.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's like biting his guts out. That's fucking wild, dude. All right. Moving on, more
You'll love
gifts.
it.
So I'm gonna skip the 5th one to be weird,
Yes.
because it's a very, very long one and a lot of reading.
Is it the Secret of Gaia?
Yes, it is.
All right, well, let's do it. So we gotta tell the secret.
Okay, yeah, I can do it right now.
Do you want me to read this? Do you want me to do the narration on this one, and then you just read out what it does mechanically?
No, I got it. Let me just mute my mic, do a little cough, drink a little water, and I shall be right back.
Yep.
I
Drink
gotta
your
take a sip,
water.
too.
It's good for you.
We're gonna learn a big secret, ladies and gentlemen.
I,
Gather around, and I'll elucidate what goes on when it gets late.
All right.
Some Silver Fang legends tell of a great white wolf who gave his own life to save Mother Gaia. He was the ancestor of the Silver Fangs and of all the werewolves. Those werewolves who rise to the highest rank amongst the tribe sometimes learn the secret that Gaia imparted to the great white wolf after his sacrifice. One that deepens their connection to her and allows them to be completely aware of their surroundings. Everything about her environment suddenly becomes part of the werewolf's awareness. She can sense the lay of the land, the type and nature of the plants growing on it, and what forms of animal life live there. She can sense the spirits are at work in the penumbra.
Yep.
In the area's penumbra.
Mm.
The werewolf also gains some sense of health, gains some sense of the health. God damn it, Ryan. Gains some sense of the health of Gaia in that area. In an urban area, she might feel constricted or restrained, while in an area that under attack by the worm, she might feel itchy or in pain, depending on how successful the worm minions are. Any Silver Fang of sufficient rank may learn this gift, but the majority of those who learn it are Theurges. For some reason, members of the Wise Heart receive this gift more frequently than those of any other house. It is technically possible for a Geru of another tribe to learn this gift, but it has not happened in living memory. And no song records such an event occurring. Those werewolves who do not learn this gift are often changed as a result. Many choose to walk barefoot on the earth whenever they can, and they show a greater
Than usual.
show a greater than usual aversion to cities. I think I added a word in there somewhere. My brain wasn't connecting.
It's all good.
None of them can actually articulate what the secret is, saying that it is either something you understand or you do not.
The system.
It's Koshling that's what it is. You can't explain it. You just gotta feel it. That's the whole secret.
Yeah.
It sounds like what it is that it just sounds like Gaia just talks to you. That's the secret. That's the secret.
You really need to feel it. If you can't feel it, then I don't know what to tell you.
It's like a Death Grip song.
You
Oh
need
shit,
a-
I'm feeling it.
See, I'm John Oliver. I just have this voice come into my head telling me what Gaia is thinking.
Yep. Okay.
I'm definitely not crazy thinking about this.
If you're not SpongeBob, then you're definitely not getting it.
That's pretty good.
The secret of Gaia is more powerful version of the Theurge gift, Spirit Speech, Werewolf, page 138, and Pulse of the Invisible, Werewolf, page 139. And it works in a similar fashion. The player spends a point of Gnosis to activate the gift, and then rolls the character's permanent Gnosis, difficulty 7. The werewolf, I lost my place, gains an uncanny awareness of her surroundings for a 1 mile radius for every success achieved on this roll. God damn.
That's a lot.
Especially if you got a lot of Gnosis.
Wonder if I can learn this. I got a lot of gnosis, bro.
Almost integrating her awareness into the very landscape. You can, but it hasn't been recorded in history that someone from another tribe has.
True.
You could be the very first one.
Huh, I can try that.
Awareness into the very landscape. She can automatically see into the penumbra and may look at both the penumbra and the material realm simultaneously. simultaneously if she wishes, and can step sideways at a -2 difficulty. Some theurges have likened the experiences to what the world must have been like before matter and spirit separated. App?
I think that's
App?
autocorrected.
That might be, yeah.
I think it's just perception rolls, maybe.
Yeah, perception rolls made within that radius are at a -3 difficulty. All local spirits that are free of worm taint can sense the character's oneness with Gaia and are well disposed towards her. All social rolls are at a -2 difficulty while dealing with spirits. This same oneness grants the player an extra die in all rolls, saving those involving combat that occur while the character is in the state, in addition to the other bonuses. The gift lasts for 1 hour for each point of permanent gnosis. The werewolf, Jesus. The werewolf has,
fuck,
if the
Richard?
roll is a botch, the pain of Gaia overwhelms the character's senses, and Hirano?
Yeah. Werewolf
Cripples
depression.
him. Gotcha. Hirano cripples him for the duration of the scene. Jesus.
That sounds ludicrously powerful.
You want to know why
Absolutely.
anyone wants to play as a Silver Fang? It's because of gifts like this.
Yeah, they get fucking incredible gifts. What the hell? I do think that rank 6 gift kind of sucks, but like this makes up for it. This is outlandishly powerful.
Compared to the rank 5? Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how many benefits you get. So it's like you sense anything within a 1 mile radius for every point, for every success you roll. You automatically look in both the Umbra and the material realm at the same time. Step sideways at -2. All perception rolls at -3. All social rolls at -2. That is busted, dude. Wow.
Yeah, involving spirits, yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, moving on from that. What's your rank 4?
4. I chose ignore death blow or sidestep death. There are 2 nearly identical but mechanical different versions of this gift. We believe these are intended. Oh, that's the author's notes.
Yep.
So we've got
read the second
edition
one.
version, and the 20th anniversary. You want the second?
Yeah, read the second one. That's what we usually use.
Tales say that the first Silver Fang died and was reborn since that time. Since that time, the Fangs have passed
down.
On
I think
this,
it's
passed down this gift. A Fang with this gift can choose to ignore what would be a killing blow. This gift is taught by a lion spirit. Once per scene, a Fang can spend a willpower point and ignore all damage from a single attack. The damage simply does not occur. No special handicaps take effect either.
Oh, what the fuck, Richard? Yeah.
Behold.
This makes me even more upset that the Silver Fangs never did shit when they can do this stuff, man.
Now you look at the Children of Gaia with those same abilities. It seems that when Gaia chooses you in particular, you start getting insane powers.
I don't know. I mean, like as we said, the Octana, the Octana and the Bonars are pretty scary themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty cool, so that's why I chose it.
Yeah, that's wild.
For a rank 3, I chose Dominance Blow, as it reminded me a lot of the vampire game.
Yep. Dominate.
Smart Garu know to pay Silver Fangs their due. Stupid ones openly challenge them and force the Silver Fangs to assert their dominance. This gift allows a Silver Fang to easily knock down would-be rebels by connecting physical dominance with rightful leadership. When this gift is working, might does make right. Lupus Silver Fangs are fond of this gift, which resemble wolf understandings of alpha standing. A wolf spirit teaches this gift. The player spends 1 point of rage and rolls a charisma brawl difficulty 7. If the rolls succeed, then every blow the Silver Fang strikes against a specific target grants the Silver Fang an additional die in all social rolls against that target, allowing him to browbeat or intimidate the target more easily. The blow need not be a full force to grant the bonus, and it lasts for 1 day.
So they can literally just, they can just, Umayramu Shinde or nothing personnel kid.
Exactly.
You're gonna do what I say.
No.
You will do what I say when I say it, or I will kill you.
Yep, I just punched my microphone. Oh my god, that is pretty nice. I think that's hilarious.
That's what I thought too. I was like, you're gonna give me what I owe, and if you don't,
is Arcady gonna have to smack a bitch?
Right?
That's what's going on.
No, I miss Arcady. He's dead.
Yeah.
He
definitely had this gift though, 100%.
Yeah, it should have been you who was the king, but it should have been you.
Oh well. Anyway, rank 2.
Rank 2, hidden meaning. It's a rank 2 Silver Fang gift from the camp Unbreakable Hearth. Sometimes what someone doesn't say is just as revealing as what they do say. This gift allows the listener a sense of exactly what the speaker is concealing or avoiding saying. Heron Spirit teaches this gift.
Yeah.
The player rolls perception and empathy. If the roll succeeds, the character gains an idea of what worries the speaker the most. Even if they haven't alluded to it in any way during the speech, the more success is achieved, the more information the storyteller should provide. I thought that was interesting as fuck, because they have ways to figure out what you're scared of, what you're
worried about. Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like that'd make sense for like a leadership tribe, but then they don't fucking use it because they're insane. Like this gift alone could have saved so much heartache for the rest of the Garrow.
And you also wonder why the worm is so focused on corrupting these guys, because how many houses fell to the worm?
Quite a few.
Yeah,
Could you imagine if
when
the
you
worm got a hold of this gift?
Oh, no.
Exactly. I guess the worm is trying to recreate it, but the worm being the worm can't create, so we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, it has to steal it. I'll
Yeah.
steal it! No one will ever know!
Everybody will know the minute you start using it.
That's true. Anyway, yeah, rank 1. Lay it on us.
And the last one. I gotta say, this one hits a little close to my heart. Inspiration / Grimm's Resolve. Other werewolves look to Arun for leadership in combat. Classic. The gift of inspiration is one reason. The Gero with this gift lends new resolve and righteous anger to his brethren. Either a lion or wolf spirit teaches this gift. The player spends 1 gnosis point. All comrades, but not the gift's user, receives 1 automatic success on any willpower rolls made during the scene.
I feel like, Grim, you should just take this gift, I will happily contact a lion or wolf spirit to get it to you.
He can. There are 3 options that can take this. It's a rank 1 Arun gift, which Grim is.
Yep.
You can also take it as a rank 1 Silent Strider from the Harbinger camp, or you can take it as a rank 1 Silver Fang.
Yeah, I think Grim should take it.
I was thinking of taking a new.
You can take
gift.
gifts from other auspices, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, Grim, you take this one because it's too good to leave out. But If you want a gift from a different auspice breeder tribe, that's double the experience points you need to spend for that.
With the way the runes are, I could put this into one of my bone things, right?
Yeah, just go ahead, slap it right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's opening
Yeah,
up
all the-
Roll20 as we speak.
What? No.
You got a big damn bar fight next session. You're gonna get a
Oh,
whole bunch of bones from doing that.
this is going to be fun.
Got 12 XP.
I mean, I'd spent all my XP on another gift and medicine.
I
Yeah.
boosted up my what was it? Athletics,
Yep,
I think, for my dodge checks.
that's true. The
Mhm.
less you get hit, the less I have to expend Gnosis to heal you.
It's true.
Okay,
The best thing you could spend your XP up points on are attributes. That's my 2 cents. Let's talk about the fucking camps
yes, there's
and
a
how
lot.
little they matter.
There's a couple
How
of them,
little they matter.
but houses seem to matter
I-
more than camps in this regard. So,
The renewal lists.
yes. The renewalists, the camps in this regard are more political philosophies than they are actual camps. First, we have the renewal. They sort of work with others across territorial boundaries. The renewal seeks to quote unquote fix the excessive adherence to ceremony and tradition. They urge kings to rely on present intelligence instead of past wisdom. And they're a popular camp to the Americas and among the Blood Red Crest in India. They began with the House Wiseheart, and they are worth heeding at the very least, just to hear a different perspective. Although the renewal calls not only for renewal of leadership style, but also spiritual invigoration as well. Recently, they call for a return to some more Forsaken traditions. The book doesn't really go into a whole lot of detail on that. Basically, just like, hey, change the thing so it's not like the other thing. They don't really talk a whole lot about it because of the next camp we're about to talk to, which is what the narrator is, a royalist. Royalist tradition stands in the place of the need for the individual cunning. They see no reason to adapt to modern times. That's a huge contradiction there. The old ways will serve us best. No. Too many other tribes have forgotten the old ways. That is true, but that is not the point. It is our responsibility to strictly honor what we wish them to honor. That's some bullshit. And they are accused of only seeking power, which is, true. However, many royalists are lords, not the kings themselves, as if that makes that any better, and ensure that the old ways are maintained and performed properly. See, that would be a reasonable thing if only, you guys had any sort of relevance. The royalists are just fucking stupid. They're just idiotic. They're like, no, we've always been this military dictatorship that, praised the ancestors, so it has to always be about what we did in the past, without realizing that every new, stronger chain on the chain of tradition was once a revolutionary new idea in of itself, and that some old rusted chains need to be left by the wayside.
You notice that the renewalists actually have a plan to try to save the tribe, but even then it might be too late to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fucking royalists who are stepping on their necks. They would rather have a dead tribe than a tribe in which they do not rule the way they want to.
Exactly. And of course, we blame Falcon for this?
Yes.
Yes, we blame Falcon
Oh
for
my
this.
gosh, you suck. You fucking suck, Falcon.
Okay. These guys are kind of neat, though. The Ivory Priesthood. They are keepers of the secret of death. They are a secret society of theurges. They initiate applicants with hidden ceremonies deep in caves. But what is the secret of death? The secret was originally won by the first wolf when he rescued Gaia from the underworld. Tavarovich herself, as we mentioned before, was an Ivory Priestess. And the secret of death allows its bearers to walk the lands of the dead and wrest knowledge from them. Members of the society exude an aura of solemn quietude. Tavarovich walked the lands of the dead for 3 months and returned with an iron box and a key. They had found a land unlike any other underworld, a place for ghosts of dead animals who could not return to Gaia, either from the perversion of the worm or the weaver, or from the gruesomeness of their death. And they possess many of the secrets of deaths. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there are, well, actually, no, that's a different part of the thing. So the secret of the 7 scents of doom are what comprise the secret of death, that being violence, calamity, suicide, starvation. There are 3 others, but they did not mention it. They note that death cannot be cheated, and many Ivory priests travel on journeys to the Umbra in order to find out why. Death, however, is not an issue that the Silver Fangs should believe they should be delving into too much. They should focus on life and Mother Gaia. So the Ivory Priesthood, more secret society than it is a camp, but there seem to be a lot of them in this tribe, that being 3.
There's also something to know about the Ivory Priesthood. They have a rivalry going on with the Society of Needhog, the Shellord tribe, Shellord camp. Do you remember who the Needhogs are, right?
I roughly remember what the Needhog does.
The guys who want to jumpstart the apocalypse.
Oh, yeah,
so they can
that's
get their age and their era on.
Yep.
So you're in a race against time against these guys. Once again, the rivalry between the Silver Fangs and the Shadow Lords.
Yes. Next, we have another secret society, the Gray Raptors. We do not officially recognize this tribe or speak about them to others. Okay. They are a society of Silver Fangs who seek to punish those who ignore the Silver Fangs' divine right. Victims usually comprise the leaders of other tribes, again, them stepping on the necks of fellow Garo. The Raptors do not always have the tribe's best interests in mind, and they're more concerned about the letter of the law rather than what it means. Many of them act without any writ from any king. Some kings of the Silver Fangs seek to rein in the vigilantes to make an example of them. Usually how the Gray Raptors go about their tactics is they catch an offender alone, day or night, and they bind him to a tree and beat him to death with silver rods. Then they carve pictograms into his fur depicting the Garo words for shame and oathbreaker. And they do this to not just anger people, but to strike fear into others. They're like the Silver Fang Gestapo. They'll break into a Garo's cairn and leave a note that they were there and that they can get you at any point, any time. It's even rumored that they're said to hunt the undead, invoking the powers of the sun against them. They're mysterious and faceless figures, and most stories go unheard about them.
Well, you're being a little bit nicer about them, just calling them the Gestapo. If you could hear the boots marching in the background, I think Gestapo's putting it a little too lightly as to what these guys are, Kyle.
Well, I mean, what else the fuck would you call them? They're the Gestapo.
So this is just flat fascism, what that camp does.
Yeah, again, the Gestapo, the SS.
Yeah, so Justin Chile, who doesn't read the fucking lore, says, no, we can't have offenders because of fascism, but you literally have the fucking Silver Fangs doing this, and you can still play as them.
Bruh, dude just didn't read the book.
This is the fucking, bootlicker off-center top of the compass, where he is the guy who is going to, forcibly shove his combat boot down your throat and then step on your neck and break it if you don't go with his authority.
That's exactly what the hell is going on, especially with the Gray Raptors. And they say we don't recognize this tribe.
Of course, with a group that brutal, of course you're going to say you don't recognize them, but you're fully on board with this shit.
Yeah, you're like, we don't want anybody else to wrestle our power away from us, but there's also this tribe that makes sure that nobody wrestles our power from us.
You genocided the Children of Gaia in Russia because of a mistake you made. Of course you don't go along with this.
Yes. Following that, maybe one of the only, kind of funny tribes in the Silver Fangs, Masters of the Seal. They are the most secretive of all the camps because they are thieves. They steal secrets and spirits from other tribes. They petition many spirits that the tribe doesn't normally deal with to gain gifts, that being raccoon and monkey. They allow them to open wax seals without detection and unlock locks without a touch. They divulge secrets to those who know them, and any other Silver Fang would kick the shit out of them if they were ever caught. So they are incredibly secretive. If you meet a Master of the Seal, more than likely he will not tell you that he is a Master of the Seal until he knows he is safe around you.
So, piece of shit, you are actively putting down other tribes with this chaos.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh my god.
You gotta look down on them like you're on a horse.
Yeah,
I was looking
like
through this
Silver
book,
Fangs.
and I was thinking, I've been telling you the Silver Fangs are bad, but I just forgot just how bad they were until I started reading this book again.
I think it's good that we left the Silver Fangs until this late in our podcast, because now that you've heard every other Garrow talk shit about the Silver Fangs, it's sort of set in where it's like, oh, maybe they're not as bad because all the narrators are unreliable. And then you actually meet the Silver Fangs and realize, wow, these guys are fucking insane.
And they say all the bad things we've done are actually good things.
Yes.
Behold, it's almost like these guys are in some sort of forum that talks about the economy of the world.
Yeah.
And they use the same kind of language.
Here's why not being able to afford groceries is good, actually.
Here's why sexism is a good thing. Here's why the poor should die. Here's why the gays should be forced into internment camps. Here's why the Irish should be allowed to be genocided. And all of this is actually good, according to the Silver Fangs.
Yes, the Silver Fangs are giant pieces of shit. That is all the camps we have. Do you want me to move on to relationships?
Relationships. Like, once again, like, not even the Ventrue do this shit, dude.
No.
Not even Iteration X is... Iteration X has a group in it called... No, the Democracy have a group called the New World Order in it. And they're nicer than the Silver Fangs.
They just want us to eat some bugs and own nothing and be happy.
Oh my god, dude. This is the worst. This is the worst leading faction in the series.
Yes.
It's no debate about it.
Anyway, moving on to relationships.
Yes.
I thought they would have had more to say. What's up?
And then I have first edition in my hand right now. I will also compliment you with the knife-twisting descriptions they have about all the other tribes from this book.
See, yeah, the narrator of the second edition book, the one I read, actually had like quite a few good things to say about a number of the different tribes. So I imagine the first edition book is just absolutely scathing in comparison.
Yeah.
So starting off with the Black Furies, for the most part, they respect them. Their forthright attitude and steadfast stance makes them honorable in battle. However, the Black Furies despise their patriarchal system. They rarely ever agree with them. However, if they defer them to their queens and prefer their rulership by council, they should be able to work with them. House Wiseheart seems to get along with them pretty well. Not a whole lot to say about them.
The Black Furies?
Yeah.
So the Black Furies, according to the Silver Fangs in this book, this comes from multiple narrators, is that Luna made the right call by abandoning you and siding with us instead. You're nothing but bloodthirsty witches that talk about your antiquated patriarchy. That's how kingdoms work, sweetheart.
Jesus Christ.
Openly sexist. Like, these guys fucking hate women.
Wow. That is wild, dude. I like this whole second edition, first edition dichotomy.
If they had their way, women would have no rights.
Oh my god.
Compare that to the Gate of Fenris, Ryan, where they have an entire camp dedicated to badass women. Granted, all those women look like they just got out of prison and talk like truck drivers, but, you know, they have respect for them.
Well, that's what makes them badass,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have the Bonars. The nicest thing they have to say about the Bonars is they know their place. They're far worse in material circumstances in the New World, but are somehow treated better there. Go figure. They breed with Mongols, stink of sewer, and their speech is vile. However, they're always alert for the faintest scent of worm, and they're the best position to flag their appearance for operations to be carried out. Like, they smell bad and they talk like shit, but you know what? They know where they're supposed to be. That's what they say about them.
First edition. These guys like to hang around cities. Cool, you're survivalist. You know what also lives in the city? The worm. And because of how much you rely on wormish technology and weaver technology, we're considering genociding your tribe for relying too heavily on both of them.
If that is the case, I should probably skip to what they have to say about the Glasswalkers, because that's actually fairly close.
Let's go to Glassworkers then.
Okay. They start off immediately going, they're fools living in cities. They need to live near kinfolk, so they were supposed to live near kinfolk so they could guide humanity, but then they revel in Weaver labyrinths. There's some wisdom in doing so, but they are far too loving of the Weaver. They have forgotten their original duty to keep the spirits from running rampant, and because of their new alliance with the Weaver are borderline treasonous.
On the other hand, the first edition book is going for the more King David and Uriah approach, where they say, go ahead, let's have the Glassworkers do whatever they do. Funnel as much power into them as possible, because we're going to push them out in front of the worm first, and then the BSDs and the GWs will kill each other, and that's our worm and weaver problem solved in one day.
Oh wow, they're literally just like, yeah, we'll use this shit out of them.
Yeah, they just make it no secret that they want the Glassworkers dead.
Yeah, in both editions. Going back to the original place, we had the Children of Gaia. There was once a place in the world for gentle Garrow, and that world is long gone. We need to give no quarter to the worm. The Children of Gaia are far too quick to yield to mercy. There's still a place for mercy within the Garrow itself, but awarding mercy to everything with no discrimination or wisdom is just pure idealism, and such idealism will be the death of us all. You're not wrong.
This text seems to imply... In first edition, it seems to imply that they're okay with groups like the Patient Deed and Imminent Strike, but they say our biggest issue with the Children of Gaia is that they won't stop talking about redeeming the Worm of Balance. There is no Worm of Balance. That worm is coming back. We're dealing with the Triad, ladies and gentlemen. Stop talking about the Balance Worm. When, funny enough, the novelization canon ending of Werewolf has the Balance Worm return and take control of the Triadic Worm. So I guess who's wrong at the end of the day?
Yeah, would you look at that?
It looks like a Children guy knew what they were talking about.
Yes. The Fianna, despite their penchant for humor and satire, they do make steadfast allies. They must occasionally be reminded of their place. The austere Hal was occasionally friendly with the Fianna, and they shared land for centuries. However, they withdrew hospitality for them as they sought to escape House Gleaming Eye, as I said earlier. They are respectable in maintaining their ancient culture. Their ability to hold on to cairns is likewise impressive. However, beware their spontaneity. You never know when a Fianna will decide that things aren't going their way anymore and just dip. That's what they have to say about them.
The Fianna, they actually have nothing but glowing praise, but it's incredibly condescending the way they phrase it. They say, they're nobles, they're builders, they have always understood art, they have an appreciation for higher virtues, and that a few can comprehend. Their beautiful melodies soothe our troubled brows, and few other things can do that these days. Admittedly, they keep wanting to forget that we're the ones in charge, but their odd right doesn't exactly matter to us. A Fianna song has more power than a Geru's spirit typically does, and their connection to the She cannot be neglected. The Fianna are simply indispensable. Sounds more like you're trying to puppeteer these guys.
Oh, you know what? Get shafted, you punsy autocrat.
Compare that to the Fianna, where they fucking hate the Silver Fangs' guts.
Yeah, they were like, you stuck us with your fucking worm-infested brethren that fucked us around for years, letting us do absolutely nothing when we could have been out there helping in the fight against Rome. You guys just sat there in Scotland and did fuck all to help us until we realized, hey, you were actually using a Weaver fetish or no, a worm fetish. So we're going to kill all of you now.
Yeah, exactly.
As
It's like
you
the Great
would.
Gatsby. It's like the Great Gatsby where like it's who is it? Daisy going,
Yeah,
"Oh, Nick, you're like a rose at my table. You're so good. I love it when you eat dinner with me. You're my little rose." That's the relationship.
yeah, basically. Then we have the Get Ephemeris. Get ready, Ryan. So they share the strongest heritage with the Get Ephemeris. They invaded the mother country long ago, but since then they more often than not work side by side. The Get Ephemeris still respect ancient divine right. They do not always honor it, but they will recognize it. However, they do not respect wisdom, and that will be their downfall.
As for first edition, the Ephemeris have been our most valued allies and our most persistent competitors. Nowadays, they seem to know their place. You will find no better or more loyal of a friend than the Ephemeris.
Okay.
It's very true.
Given that the Ephemeris always have the philosophy of maybe we shouldn't have conquered all these cairns. We're better as soldiers. Ours shouldn't have been the question. Just tell us what to kill and we'll do it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Thinking's too difficult.
All right. I already went over the Glasswalkers. The Red Talons. They respect their raw rage, but be wary of their hatred for humans. Often this extends to Hamid Garrow as well, and they seem to have become relics of an older time. Yeah, sure, buddy. They still thrive in certain areas, but their days are numbered. Again, sure, buddy. They hope after, and the Silver Fangs hope that after Apocalypse there will still be a place for them. Bro, there's already not a place in the world for you. I think the Red Talons have it better off than the Silver Fang by like a country mile.
They talk in first edition that they used the Red Talons to genocide the Children of Gaia, and the Red Talons did it because the Red Talons are always thinking about one thing and one thing only, and that is murder. And they say that they're a persistent lobbying group that keeps asking them to reinstate the Imperium. And they say, oh, eventually we'll do it, but not today. We have to keep appeasing them. They are very good at finding wild places and trying to reignite the dying force of the wild. Maybe they'll succeed, maybe they won't. Uh, we'll just have to like keep puppeteering them around.
Yeah, like that's gonna work. Shadow Lords. They are prideful These prideful fakes once had a duty that they took seriously to righteously challenge the leadership and find flaws so that they will always be able to come back stronger. However, they seem to have mistaken this role as devil's advocate for the role of heir. They say there is no longer any divine mandate from anyone anymore. They are an outright spurning of the Celestines' obvious ordination of the Silver Fangs. Obvious ordination, yes. Other Garrow believe that their vision is truer nowadays, and the vile demagogy of the lies they profess infect the Garrow. Even the other tribes have begun to question their divine right. So why not exalt the best liars among us? They seem very snide when talking about the Shadow Lords in this book.
Uh, in first edition, I also like to say, Porter, you idealize the Shellers a little too much. You said, "Oh, they're not evil little werewolves twiddling their mustaches." No,
Sure.
paragraph I'm reading verbatim. If the Shellords are a dagger at our throats, it is one of iron, not silver. They twiddle their mustaches, entertain a philosophy of villainy as a virtue, and scheme to take our rightful place as leaders of the Geru. They overestimate their power and cleverness. They underestimate our resolve and our knowledge of their tricks. We know them of old. So, yes, the Shellords do enjoy being the bad guy.
Yeah, we've been over
But
this in the Shadow Lords episode. They are outwardly intimidating.
the Surfings say that we know that Shellords are trying to screw us over, but we can declare excommunication and extermination anytime we want, but we want to wait on that. We're going to let this melt in our mouths. We're collecting this massive dossier of information, and we are eventually going to expose the Shadow Lords, revealing all of their crimes, and then we will order their genocide, and no tribe will say no to doing it.
I mean, probably not, but then we're coming for you next, just to make sure that we are out of
Given,
asses.
given that the Sharelords are planning to do the exact same thing to them.
You know, we'll just let them sort it out between us, and who wants to come over for a drink and watch while they do it?
Yeah, the thing is that the Sharelords, even though they messed up horribly, they actually do have accomplishments under their belt and are
Yes,
doing better in the modern knights than you are.
absolutely. Moving on from them, the Silent Striders. They have thought they might also know the secrets of death, but they believe that isn't entirely true. They have some ability to walk the lands of the dead completely untouched. However, if they so readily control their death, why don't their ancestors speak to them or appear before them? Maybe it's because they're fucking cursed. Their spirits do not go to the Umbra. So can such a curse be broken? Other than that, the tribe does produce excellent messengers. Wiseheart has had many dealings with them in the past. I feel like they're talking down to the Silent Striders too, which makes me incredibly mad. Because no, you're a worse version of them. You don't have Damn the Heart Flood. Shut up.
Of course they're talking down on them.
Oh my god.
And in first edition, they say we have launched multiple investigations to see if these guys are worm corrupted because of how close they are to death. We have never proven a result or a yes that they are worm corrupted. They did help us in our fight with the trying to save the Children of Karnak. Don't worry about that. That's a plot point that never goes anywhere, so we don't need to talk about it. And they also guarded our oldest temple to Helios. So yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Just let them be.
Yep. You're going to love this one. The Stargazers. Once they sought out their wisdom, sure, and they were fully aware of their penchant for abstraction. However, you always have to take their advice with caution, wondering if it's some strange ploy to escape their rule. Do they conspire with the other Pharaoh? All in all, don't trust the Stargazers. A wolf that walks alone is always suspicious. Fucking wild.
And in first edition, they're openly envious about the Stargazers for having discovered all these different enigmas. Like discovering that the worm was bound by the Weaver. The Stargazers figured that out. And the Silver Fangs say, well, we should have been the ones to figure that out because we're the gods chosen. So
well, you didn't do the reading, now did you?
No, you did not.
Okay.
Probably you want about that.
And then we got the Ictena. They fully concede this tribe has vast and ancient knowledge, but they do not respect their secretives about it. They need to overcome the recitants and share their knowledge. They need to plan together. The Silver Fangs of the Old Country have very few relations with them, and very rarely do they ever appear. When they do, they're always looking for ancient knowledge. They're like, so they don't really say a whole lot about the Ictena, other than you need to come talk to us more often.
As for the Ictena in first edition, they say, our main concern is their concern with the spiritual realm and the fact that it makes them a little dangerous that they're so deeply interested in researching the Umbra. We've launched several investigations into them. There seems to be very little evidence of worm taint. They keep wanting to ignore what we say. We occasionally have to come in and gang bust them up and union bust them up to force them to do what we tell them to do.
Yeah, great ruling there.
This definitely doesn't have any sort of slave master overtones to it.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And then the Wendigo.
No, absolutely not.
Wendigo. The Wendigo, they also have very few relations with. These Siberica still cling to tiny cairns in the northeastern tip of Russia. They're an interesting group that combine the best of both Wendigo and Silver Fang. All Wendigo are bitter against the European Garo for taking their cairns, and they rarely go forth to fight the worm outside of their territory. They engaged in conquest, but also keep them from overstepping. They keep to their lands in the north and seem to hate the Silver Fangs less than others. No, they hate you just as much.
In first edition, they accuse them of being nothing but alcoholic chain smokers that are never going to amount to anything.
You sure you didn't get her mixed up with myself? Just seeing.
No.
Because let me tell you, I do a lot of
Uh,
both of them things.
this.
Uh,
And if you want to know about what they think about the Farah, they don't give a rat's ass about the Farah.
no, I got very few notes about the Farah. They respect the Goral, but they did little to help them. The Koraks revere the sun and invite them with hospitality, but they have terrible manners, and they have terrible rituals when it comes to revering the sun. They know next to nothing about the Noisha or the Bastet. The Blood Reds, they distrust the Bastet. They heard terrible things about the Ananasi. That's about it. Leech is pretty straightforward on what they. Do you want me to just blow through? What's up?
I sent Ryan this information. Let's have him go on it.
Actually, yeah, go ahead.
He sent me the information, but I couldn't read any of it.
Oh yeah, because the size of the thing.
You couldn't make it the fucking font.
You probably should have just sent him the book. Do you want me to just go ahead then?
I did send. I did send the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just
You're talking about the YouTube video?
Yeah.
Yeah. And going down the line, let's talk about the Kindred.
Wait, Kindred? Did I write notes for that? I don't know if I did.
Vampires.
Oh,
you
okay.
You keep saying Kindred. You keep mixing up Kinfolk and Kindred.
Yeah, I do. Leeches. Yeah. Some continue a mockery of life, spirits trapped in bodies by some powerful gift, preying upon living humans, somehow cocooned undead creatures in a form of stasis. End their existence wherever you can. They are, however, be wary. They are masters of deceit. Their powers can overwhelm your judgment, and they can very easily control the will of other humans. Basically, be wary about their abilities, but kill them on sight. Very simple. Do you want to do the first edition of these, or do you want me to just run through them real quick?
Yeah, these dumbasses said that if you must deal with vampires, you must call upon the Ventru if you want a civilized discussion. So that little thing they just said, that's what leads to Dark Alliance Vancouver and one of the biggest losses of the Garo Nation. Because you trusted the Ventru. First of all, you fucking stooge. You stupid motherfucker trusting the Ventru. You know who's talking to the Ventru? The Shadow Lords. And that Ventru is just sitting in the corner of the room in his armchair, his legs crossed, he's got his chin on his knuckle. And he's going, very interesting, And then the minute you leave the room, he's going to make a phone call to his Shadow Lords, and he's going to tell them everything you just said. You stupid bitch.
Yeah, that's absolutely retarded. Fuck that. Wow. I've been trying not to call them retarded, but it's just hard at this point. Oh my god.
Right.
We don't mean it in a neurodivergent way. We mean it in a horrible, irredeemable stupidity way.
Yes. Like I mean it in the Christopher Titus way. Like you wake up one morning and you go, "Wow, that tattoo was retarded."
We mean it in the Corey Spaskid way.
Yes. Okay, Then we have mages. Seemingly immortal spirit from the far celestial reaches of the Umbra has melded itself into human soul and gives it vast powers. They are not worm or weaver. Mages have appeared in communities that that the Silver Fangs watch over. Some choose to master the spirit's technology. Best to avoid them unless you're sure you have the upper hand. Occasionally, they somehow can walk into the Umbra. And out of all of them, the Dream Speakers seem to be the most respectful to Mother Gaia. Not a whole lot to say about the mages.
As for what they say in first edition, they bring up the Nefandi by name, and they say if you come across these guys, kill them on the spot. They are teaching the Black Spiral Dancers sorcery. That's the last thing you need. Yeah, the Nefandi are teaching the Black Spiral Dancers sorcery. Because they know that the Black Spirals are going to use that magic for terror attacks. So that's why they're teaching it to them.
Jesus.
They also bring up the Tenocracy. And they say if you come across a technocrat, kill it. As for the other traditions, they don't think they're going to amount to anything, but sometimes they're friends to Gaia, so just leave them alone.
Yep, basically. Fairies. Fairies are uncommon. They don't seem to exist anymore. However, they really miss them. They appreciate their fostering nature and gentle laughter. Well, maybe it's because you've got so many compounding mental illnesses that you can't dream anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because let me tell you, I know a
Yeah.
lot of fairies. Oh, man, a lot of fucking fairies. They're all over the goddamn place. Open your fucking eyes. Oh, wait, you're blind. Never mind.
It seems they're smart enough, or at least Jonas Albrecht is smart enough, to recognize that these guys are fighting the same fight you are. So they're using the Fianna as their liaison to contact the She. And even though the Fianna is the ones who are really in control of that relationship, since they're the ones talking to the She with the history to the She, the Silver Fangs like to tell themselves that they have control over it. And they say, if we combine forces, eventually we'll be able to destroy the worm.
Yeah, and then
So,
you sit there in your tower and absolutely nothing. So what do you expect for us to accomplish when you say join forces, and then you sit there in yours doing fuck all, eh? What is it then?
unless we're talking about the Unseelie Court, if they say you come across an Unseelie fairy, kill it.
Yeah, probably.
If you don't understand it, kill it.
That's basically what they're doing. Ghosts.
Yeah, intense xenophobia.
Yes. Ghosts, wraiths. The Ivory Priesthood has spoken with them. The Silver Fangs generally don't approve of it. Those Garrow who delve too deeply get caught in their mysteries. They didn't have a whole lot to say about wraiths. Anything on your end or no?
So what they say is that the Ivory Priesthood has to deal with these guys a lot, since they're the guys who know about the Secret of Death.
Yeah.
And they say if you want to know more about these guys, go talk to the Silent Striders. All we can really tell you is that they're a nuisance. Whenever we try going into the Penumbra, these guys want to get in our face, and we just frankly don't have time to talk to these guys.
Yeah, basically. Just like, no, just push them out the way. They're fine.
Yeah, just get your little spirit stick, push them away.
Yeah. Next, we have Hunters. Some humans can possess uncanny amounts of power and wisdom, and can even somehow bear witness to the Krynos form. They seem intent on ridding the world of what they refer to as supernatural horrors. Do your best to teach them who was here first. Remind them never to come near our cairns again or offer them certain destruction. Basically, puff your chest out, look mean and scary, and kick the shit out of them.
And behold, we have a new segment to show. It's called Choose Your Derangement. All right, both of you get comfy in your little clinical chair. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with your brain.
Okay.
So, whenever you pick a Silver Fang, you get one of many incurable mental diseases when you pick your character. You ready for these?
Yes.
All right.
Bring it.
Amnesia. You'll have sporadic episodes where you'll completely forget what happens to you if you have a particularly stressful or traumatic day. Ennui. You become easily bored and often become jaded and incredibly cynical to the point where nobody wants to talk to you. Intellectualization. You will analyze everything to the point where you become completely obsessed. You miss the forest for the trees, and you focus on every individual tree for an hour, becoming so detailed that you no longer know what the hell you're talking about.
Why did all
Isolationism.
these sound familiar to me?
See, which one?
Why did all of these sound familiar to me?
You probably looked over these when I demented you during our vampire game.
Yes.
See, isolation. Your werewolf will distance themselves from all of their companions, refusing to communicate with them during random points of the day. She will not communicate with even her packmates. Manic depression, as we know what this is, but take more like bipolar disorder and make it even more dramatic. Multiple personalities. I think we know what this means.
That's
Right.
Kip. That's just Kip.
Right. Obsession. Guru with this derangement tend to be obsessed with one particular concept or idea that they make the focal point of their entire lives. Paranoia. You become so convinced that the worm is going to kill you that you're constantly looking over your shoulder and you can't sleep because you're too busy thinking about the worm all day. Perfection. You will not stop until every single individual detail is perfect. You may even repeat a mission again if it doesn't go exactly perfectly.
That sounds like a
Power
pain in the
madness.
ass.
Power
Yeah, it
madness.
does.
Guru with this derangement must have control or dominance over every situation 24/7.
What the fuck you mean? That's
Regression.
just every Silver Fang.
True.
Regression. Guru with this derangement tend to act like babies or small children. And vengeful. If someone wrongs the Guru with this derangement, he becomes obsessed with retribution, either resulting in a punishment or murdering whoever has wronged them.
Oh boy.
Enjoy talking to these guys.
No, I think I'm gonna leave them alone.
Yeah, that seems for the
Yeah,
best.
and same with the Malkavians. None of these are curable.
There's a reason we don't go talk to Grandpa in the nursing home anymore. It's because of that.
It's because he's fucking crazy. Like, no amount of medical attention was able to cure the madness of Jonas Albrecht,
Nah.
who had multiple personalities as his derangement.
Okay.
He would constantly switch between a father of his men, like who was the guy in Heart of Darkness? No,
Apocalypse Now.
Who was the
Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore.
yeah, where he's the guy who wants to have a barbecue with his men instead of actually fighting a war.
Yep.
And then he would switch to Colonel Kurtz. But it was the Colonel Kurtz who sent out his people to die in his name. And when Jacob Morningkill eventually died, nobody cried for him.
Oh, one of these days this war's gonna end.
You
Anyway.
ready for totems?
Yes, totem time.
Bring it on. Let's do it.
All right, let's do fucking Falcon. I think we've gone over Falcon before. Let's bring him up again.
Yes. What about Falcon?
And you're wondering, why did Old Wolf of the Woods leave the Silver Fangs, by the way? It's because of this fucker running the entire tribe into the ground. Old Wolf of the Woods would eventually leave for the Red Talons instead of the tribe that he helped create. So, buckle up. This is how bad he is. Alright, background cost 5, so not too expensive, but that's the rub, isn't it? Packs chosen by Falcon gain 3 dice to leadership, as well as extra 4 willpower points available to the tribe as a whole, not per member, per story. You also gain 2 points of honor renown. The ban. The Falcon's children. Dishonor is worse than death. They can never allow themselves to lose permanent honor. If they do, they must either put the right wrong and perform the rite of contrition, and further atone for their offense by hurling themselves at a minion of the worm, preferably a powerful one along the same level power as a Phyrectoid. While essentially a suicide run, their blood will wash away the stain on their names.
That's just unbelievably stupid.
Become a hero or die for me. That's Falcon's decree.
On the White Wolf fandom wiki, it says, like, in the first line, like the Silver Fangs he serves, Falcon is a most noble spirit. To Falcon's children, dishonor is worse than death. One of these things is not like the other.
Doubt that so much. That
Oh
he's
my
a noble.
god. That is retarded again. Jesus.
Once again, not even Grandfather Thunder does this. With Grandfather Thunder, you're just exiled if you fail.
Yeah.
With Fenris, you just lose an arm. With this guy, he asks you to die.
Okay.
And Uktena, as sneaky as Uktena is, he'll give you a second chance if you fuck up. So, behold, the Uktena are more benevolent than the Silver Fangs.
Yes. Wow.
Right. You may be wondering, why is it all birds with this fucker? It's because the Silver Fangs see themselves above the tribes, therefore all of their totems are animals that fly above everyone else.
Alright. So, next, we've got what?
Merlin, who I am going to pretend is also Merlin the Wizard for this to make it more entertaining for myself. You may recognize this guy. He also works with Ifiana.
Oh, right. Not a friend of ours.
Here, he typically works with House Bloodred Crest, and Merlin is a small hawk. He tends to be swift, fierce, and cunning. He is a champion. I have a friend. He is a world champion, and he's the champion of the underdogs. teaching that size is far from being the most important thing on the battlefield. He cautions that his children should use cunning before using pure aggression. The traits, background cost 4. Packs devoted to Merlin gain 3 dice for their brawl pools, which is very good, and 2 dice for their dodge rolls. He also grants 3 extra dice of willpower per story, bolstering their courage to fight the worm. It does not specify per pack or per member, so it could be either one for all I know. The ban. Followers of Merlin must not kill birds of prey of any kind. They can ignore this if the raptor is worm corrupted. But besides that, no.
I mean, that's a
So-
lot more reasonable than Falco. Or than Falcon.
I wonder who should be in charge of the tribe.
I don't know. I mean, Jay's a friend of ours.
As it turns out, Merlin's a little bit more benevolent because at least he tries to mentor you.
True.
Yeah. And also 3 dice of brawl and 2 dice of dodge is pretty fucking tight.
Absolutely.
How often do you roll claw attacks, Grim?
All the time. Literally all the time.
Never miss an attack again.
Yes.
Right?
And also 2
Until I
for
roll all
dodge.
ones again.
Let's talk about a guy who's gross. Let's talk about Buzzard.
It's Buzzard, yeah.
Buzzard is the beloved totem of House Crescent Moon. Slow-moving yet graceful, Buzzard is a powerful bird that few can stop when he gets angry. He values control and precision in his followers and encourages them to learn skillful combat. The success of House Crescent Moon in bringing down the Shadow Curtain has, which they refer to as the Iron Curtain, the border between
East and West
Berlin
Germany?
and West Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they take credit for that.
Okay. That seems like a Children of Gaia thing more than anything.
I think it is too. The traits, background cost 4. He's pretty cheap. Packs chosen by Buzzard gain 2 dice to all melee rolls.
Okay.
And an additional point in dexterity. Use a sword when you're using this guy. The ban. Buzzard detests the sight of Gaia's warriors fighting amongst themselves, when there are so many other enemies they could be fighting instead. He asks that his children never initiate a fight with another werewolf, unless that werewolf is a black spiral.
Oh, they don't count.
Yeah, this includes duels, by the way.
Oh, that's no fun.
So, so
Yeah.
find a vampire, find like a slave vampire, like chain him to the ceiling, and you just use him as a punching bag instead.
If Grim tied up a vampire as a punching bag, he'd be dust after one hit. No. You gotta take a vampire. You gotta take like 3 of them and stuff them into a punching bag, so when they turn to dust, they just form the dust of the punching bag.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then Samichi makes the best ones.
Okay.
Now we have the patron saint of House Wormfoe, Eagle, who you may remember from our Children of Gaia episode. He does a little something different for these guys. Eagle is an awesome sight. Powerful, yet loyal. Regal, yet vicious. House Wormfoe is his chosen house. He and Falcon watch over this dynamic house and its unpredictable king carefully. They're talking about Jonas Albrecht. Eagle was not highly regarded until recently, but the recent success of his children are rapidly making him amongst the most well-known, if not the most trusted, amongst Falcon's brood. It also helps that you're talking to the Children of Gaia. The traits. Background costs 7. Eagle gives each of his children 2 extra dice in their brawl rolls, and an extra dot in strength. The children of Eagle are fearsome foes in hand-to-claw combat. Eagle, as his ban, asks 2 things. He asks that fallen foes are decapitated and their heads are displayed with his name, and that his followers stay absolutely faithful to their mates. No adultery.
Oh, well, I already fucked that, didn't I? Also, I'd
Yeah.
like to point out that I think the White Wolf fandom version of Eagle, I think, is from a different edition of Werewolf.
You're looking at the Children of Gaia version.
Yeah, the Children of Gaia revised one. It's like this. It says that it references the Silver Fangs book, but none of that was in here.
Nope. This wiki is in such damn shambles, dude. Please, somebody fix this fucking wiki, please.
Bro, you're writing the book. You fix it.
Yeah.
Make your own wiki.
Well, I've been cyber attacked twice on Wikia, so I don't want to do it.
Oh yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
See, that
Yeah.
happened to me on Wormfo. Remember when we were doing the Stargazers
Yeah.
episode, and like I got like man in the middle, and thankfully my
Yeah.
browser and antivirus got me out of there. But like that kind of
Yeah.
threw me off. I pointed out in the video, I'm like, hey, this link has a redirect to it for somewhere it shouldn't be. Somebody fix that.
See, uh, Sean's DMing me. I got. I want to talk to Sean later. Let's talk about. There are so many damn birds.
Yes.
I only have time for 2 more. Was it like 10 totems in this one book?
Jesus.
All right, let's talk about Wyvern, who is a dragon. Behold, a defector of the worm. He has left the worm, and even though he looks serpentine and he has wings, he has no allegiance to him. Instead, he is one of the worm's biggest enemies. He often appears as a herald of war, bringing news of major confrontation with the forces of the worm. He drives all Geru, and those who follow him in particular, to give everything towards the feat of corruption, and often counsels the use of trickery and ambush in combat. Wyvern's anger and viciousness makes him an attractive totem for the young and angry Silver Fangs, looking to win renown in battle with the forces of the worm. Straight up, this guy will give you 2 alertness, 2 primal urge, and the gift Sight from Beyond and Call of the Wild. So
That's
a lot
pretty
of goodies
fucking
throughout the
tight.
gate. For a background cost 4 totem.
That's super cheap.
And
Oh yeah, it is.
look at this. The ban. The sight of the filed cairns stresses Wyvern greatly. His followers must protect any and all cairns if asked for assistance, even ones that are held by Farah. Wyvern's children must not participate in the rescuing of a cairn from other shapeshifters and must stop such a theft from occurring should they learn of it. So, leave the cairn the way you found it.
Okay. Then tell somebody else
that's
to
what
do
it
it, I
has to do.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just don't take it to begin with.
I suppose.
And also we have the most common bird, hawk. To talk about. There's also Phoenix, but Phoenix isn't in this book, so we're going to talk about hawk instead.
All
right. Hawk, background cost 4. Hawk is the most cunning of Falcon's brood. He is small, fast, and clever. He likes to trick his prey into exposing their backs, so he can use his talons to expose and rake across their backs and kill the prey. He teaches his children to confuse and distract their foes so that they may easily defeat them. Hawk is the totem of House Gleaming Eye, which takes its name from the glint within his own eye. Background cost 4. Hawk gives his children 2 dots of subterfuge and an extra dot of manipulation. The ban, Hawk asks that his children tell no one. I've already picked this up.
Yep.
Hawk asks that his children tell 1 lie about themselves for every 2 truths that they tell.
Anybody want to play 2 truths and a lie?
Yes, sign for Falcon.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Sign for Hawk.
Amazing.
I just thought that was just like a funny thing to add on.
That's kind of ridiculous.
And looking at all their stuff, behold all the claves they have. These guys like to specify the claves. You want to know how these guys keep some authority? It's got their main fetish is building the claves. The silver daggers that they will use that pretty much insta kill you on one stab.
That's
so
scary.
Another reason why these guys are leaders.
Yeah, because they have the
And
biggest
they also
sword.
have Falcon arrows that are like extra good arrows for sniping, like low effort, like aim assist arrows. They also have the poppy leaf bandage. It's a leader's burden to go on fighting, however, with terrible wounds. The poppy leaf bandage will stop an aggravated wound from worsening, And the bandage applied will allow one werewolf to ignore one level of wound penalties, which is always good.
Yeah, that's great.
It's good to
Yeah, it is.
it's good to have a bandage that's absolutely slathered in opium and then just slap it onto you.
I
Fucking
mean,
right.
yeah, that sounds like it'd work. All right.
It also sounds like they'd be high on their minds with it on their bodies.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, Vikings back in the day would like take shrooms before going into battle.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many survived doing that.
Not very many, I imagine.
Not many.
Anyway, I think rites is the only thing we got left.
Yeah, and then mixing splats.
All right. So curiously, there's only level 1, level 3, and level 4 rites. So I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna go do like 2 level 1s, 2 level 3s, and the level 4. Okay. So
Right.
starting off, we have Rite of Breeding, Mystic. The rite is one of the secrets behind the Silver Fangs' unusually high levels of pure blood. When a Fang feels that it is time for her to start a family, she enacts this rite and asks her house's totem to guide her to her best matched mate. The werewolf meditates on her ancestry using pictures, stories, photos, or keepsakes, and then calls to the totem for guidance. If the rite is successful, the totem grants her a vision of herself carried aloft in the talons of the totem to the home of the best prospect for a young, strong, worthy child. The rite does not guarantee that the prospective mate will welcome the werewolf's advances, just that he is a good genetic and spiritual match. System: Standard role. This rite normally takes place within the boundaries of the home cairn, and shows the kinfolk most likely to prove a good mate within a few days' travel. The more success is achieved, the more details the vision gives about the prospective mate and his location. This ritual does not help with seducing or winning the heart of the kinfolk in any way. Basically, you get Tinder as a rite. You get Tinder as a rite. That's incredible. This is going to be a treat, I'm sure.
What was that we were talking about not cheating on your partner?
Yes, adultery. None of that. Okay, next we have Rite of the Honorable Oath, an accord. Description: The Silver Fangs take their oaths of service very seriously indeed. When anyone wishes to swear service to a Silver Fang lord who follows the old traditions of the tribe, the lord may ask them to undergo this rite, but will never press the point. Many Silver Fangs voluntarily undergo it if offering service to another werewolf, but are offended if others demand it of them. To swear the oath, the character swears to undertake a single task, which is outlined by the recipient of the oath and repeated by the character undergoing it. The character offering service then gives a small object of value to himself to the recipient of the oath. Should the oath taker stay true to their word, he will receive renown, whether or not the mission is successful. The recipient of the oath should return the gifted item at the conclusion of the service. System: The player of the oath giver spends 1 gnosis to activate the rite. If the character keeps their word and attempts the mission to the best of their abilities, they gain 4 points of honor, irrespective of the quest's outcome. If they does not do so, they lose 4 points of honor. The recipient of the oath is under no compulsion to return the object gifted to them, but risks losing 2 points of honor if they do not do so. This is an insta-kill if you follow Falcon. If you fuck this up, this is an insta-kill.
Yeah. You gotta love this shithead too. You gotta love this fucking guy.
Of course, that is only if you don't go through with it entirely. Like, if you do it and you fuck it up, you'll lose. Well, actually, no. If you do it and fuck it up, you'll lose the honor and then have to kill yourself because you lost honor. That's ridiculous. What the hell?
This good old totem has just driven our entire people into the ground.
All right. I know one that I want to do, but the other two I'm kind of split on. Should I do Rite of the Loyal Pack or Walking with the Dead?
Let's talk about Walking with the Dead, since it seems that only Descent Shredders do that. So yeah, with
this
what
is an
Ryan's
Ivory
saying too.
Priesthood. This one is exclusive to Camp Ivory Priesthood. This is a Mystic Rite. Only the members of the secretive Ivory Priesthood learn this rite. To perform the rite, the priest must first spend a day ritually purifying herself of all sins, according to the priesthood's creed and any negative thoughts. She must also spend a few hours meditating on the idea of her own death and her attitude towards it. A priest who is not reconciled to her own mortality can find the Dark Umbra a disturbing and unsettling place, especially in recent years when a terrible spirit storm has rendered it even more dangerous than usual. Once the purification is complete, the Garrow faces a death's breath spirit in the early twilight of that evening. She must let it breathe into her mouth, which sends a chill like a rod of salad ice through her body. She may then step sideways into the Dark Umbra. She may remain there until dawn the following morning. System. The player spends a point of Gnosis and rolls willpower at difficulty 7. If the roll fails, the rite ends and the character is plunged into a terrible Hirano-like depression that costs her 2 dice from every dice pool for the next 24 hours. If it succeeds, the character may make a normal stepping sideways roll to enter the Dark Umbra as described above. Once in the Dark Umbra, the priest appears as a dark patch in the normal penumbra. If she fails to return to the material world by dawn the next morning, she is trapped in the Dark Umbra unless another Ivory Priest or kindly silent Strider helps her back across into the material world. This seems lethally deadly. Like, not only do you have to face a Death's Breath spirit, but then you run the risk of being either stuck in Hirano for a day with 2 dice removed from every pool. All of your difficulties basically just go up by 2 then. And you could get stuck in the Umbra, in the Dark Umbra. That's lethal.
Which begs the question: why aren't you just asking the Silent Striders for their own right that lets them go into the Shadowlands?
Because they're not that smart. I mean,
you can ask for help, guys.
No, absolutely not. Like, that's one thing I'm noticing about a lot of the Silver Fangs. Like, we talk a lot of shit about them, and, like, lore-wise, they're a dog shit tribe. But this is like playing Salubri in Vampire. This is hard mode for Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Yeah. You are paying a target on your back with this dread.
Mm-hmm. Like, not only do you have like a Midas deformity as a pureblood werewolf, but you also have rights like this. And rights like Right of the Honorable Oath, especially if you follow Falcon.
It's funny that you said that because there always seems to be a challenge mode class you can play as with each of these games.
I do kind of like that
with
about
Vampire. With Vampire Dark Ages, it's the Salubri. With the Vampire Modern Knights, it's the Thin Bloods. With Mage Ascension, it's the Hollow Men because of how severe your backlashes are when your spells go off in your face. And Change into Dreaming, your mileage may vary. I want to say Puka because of the roleplay element you have to do with the Puka. But
you have to lie constantly.
And this is Werewolf the Apocalypse hard mode. It plays these guys.
Yes.
Nobody respects you. You're crazy. You're going to die when you're 30. And you have rights like this.
Speaking of, Right of the Omega Wolf, punishment right. Description. The tribe takes the failure of a pack alpha very seriously indeed. If all the members of a pack agree that their alpha has failed them catastrophically, then they may enact this right to prevent him from ever becoming pack alpha again. The pack takes their fallen alpha and sits him on a rock. Then they crown him with a mock crown and bow down in pretend obedience to him. They then stand up and commence mocking him one by one before tearing the crown from his head and casting him to the ground. When each pack member has spat or urinated on the fallen alpha, the rite is done. System. Standard roll. The fallen alpha loses 4 points of honor renown and 2 points of wisdom renown. If he ever becomes pack alpha again, he will lose 2 points of gnosis every time the moon rises, and will be unable to regain gnosis until he relinquishes the position. I feel like they need to do this right more often.
Something, Jesus Christ during the Passion.
Yeah, they literally, you have to like, you just have like a giant roast on somebody, and then you each take a turn peeing on him. and then he can never
you just-
become Pack Alpha again, and he loses a whole bunch of renown.
You just gotta make the
Chico
four.
skip? All right.
Oh yeah, raise your leg.
Yep. You just need to make the crown out of thorns. You need to put a purple robe on the guy, and then you whip him across the back 39 times, and then throw salt water into it.
Yeah, it's basically what they did to Quasimodo at the Ceremony of Fools in the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's what I like about this series is that it's not afraid to wear its references on its sleeve.
Yeah, and then the last one, level 4, Right of Kingship, Accord. This rite, as described in Chapter 2, page 51, is used to crown the... Well, actually, this is in Silver Fangs Revised, page 78. This rite, as described in Chapter 2, page 51, is used to crown the true kings of the tribe. The rite is rarely used for obvious reasons, but the shamans of the Silver Fangs traditionally teach it to multiple promising students, so that it will never be lost through a shaman's untimely death. To be taught the right of kingship is a distinct honor, and many theurges vie to be recognized as worthy of the rite. System. Standard roll. Success indicates that the recipient has been properly marked as a Silver Fang king, and that all spirits that owe allegiance to Gaia, Luna, or Helios will automatically recognize him as such, as may some Banes. As noted, certain omens may overturn this result depending on circumstances. This is how you learn how to crown people king. This is their claim to fame, so to speak. Not all.
And you're supposed to practice this every 7 years, but it's more like every 50 years.
Yeah, because they're fucking stupid like that.
Yeah, you learn this right, and then you just have to sit and wait for the king to eventually die, and then you get to do it.
You know what this whole thing reminds me of? It reminds me of that bit from Aqua Teen Hunger Force where Meatwad clones himself, or no, just splits himself into 300 different little Meatwads, and then Shake takes Frylock and goes, "Look, they're trying to form their own stupid government. But here's the fun part: they still can't find out who should bring the juice boxes." I don't think it's got to that much up, because I can bring juice boxes.
You gotta watch that show with subtitles on.
Yes. I feel like the whole thing is just like the Shadow Lords as Shake and the Fianna as Frylock.
I can't say that I've ever seen the show.
I've seen a little bit of it. I've seen that one bit, and I love that bit so much. Anyway, mixing splats.
We're going to spam you the clips of that show later.
Yes.
So let's do another segment first.
Oh, okay.
Does Ryan have any ideas on how to save the Silver Fangs?
Let's see. I guess.
Good.
Maybe. No, sorry. I was thinking. If you have something you can say, you can.
I was gonna say you can really hear the gears turning in that Get a Fenris Arun mind of his.
Right. I would say stop with the inbreeding.
Yeah, there you go.
That's one
first
of them.
of all.
That's like a big one.
Stop fucking your grandma, first of all.
You know, maybe if your king of all werewolves wasn't a hemophiliac, people would respect you a little more.
That's true. Open mind to other tribes, and stop thinking you're better than everyone.
Oh, absolutely, that's not going to happen.
Oh, I know. It might save them. I don't know.
Maybe tell Falcon to get the fuck out of here and take Luna as your totem.
Yes.
True. Yeah. That would be a good one.
Because you can do that. That's possible. You're able to take the moon as your totem.
Yeah. Just like the Bonars need to get rid of Rat as their totem.
But Rat, there's nothing wrong with Rat.
He's an abusive relationship. He's
and
an abusive
he's smart.
boyfriend.
The Bonars have done this well because he's smart.
Okay, sure.
He's an intelligent man, and he doesn't get enough respect.
Okay.
You,
Anyway,
you
we're
want to know why
interrupting.
he's like this? Is because of people like you.
Anyway, back to Ryan's segment. So, anything else?
It's just-
That's about it. That's unless there's something else that I can't think of.
well,
Let the
I
renewals
already
speak.
know what Kyle is going to think. I already know what his answer is going to be. Ryan, what tribe would you have as the leaders instead of Silver Fangs?
Oh, that's a loaded question. The get part of me is like, oh,
Yeah.
get a Fenris. But
See.
realistically, I would say, uh,
Also the Go Fenris.
Yeah.
yeah, right. Not Silver Fangs, not Red Talons. Definitely not the
Figure it
Fianna.
out.
Holy fuck.
Bro, come on.
I can imagine it now if the Fianna were in charge. Jesus Christ.
We have pinball machines and let people drink beer at lunch.
Yeah, it's great. Look, we've never had more fun as we did now.
Let's see, I gotta actually pull up a list of tribes. Not Glasswalkers.
Come on, let's look at this. There's
Maybe
one
the
right answer.
Children of Gaia?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They're
That's also
too
Kyle's answer.
They're too pacifist for it. I mean,
Yeah.
You
they
ready to
would
become?
be the most
ready to become
agreeable out of all of them, but at the same time, that doesn't mean they'd be good at it.
Would you like to have a world government that runs like Twitter?
Oh, Jesus Christ,
No.
no. That's
No.
what the children. That's the other thing. It's like the children of Gaia have to get everyone's opinion, and in times of conflict, you can't stall on decisions
Yeah.
because you need everyone's opinion. You need decisive leadership.
Dude, I felt like I was going to have an aneurysm watching this one video. It was Los Angeles City Council, and just trying to start the damn meeting took an hour. And you have, like, in the middle of the speech, somebody goes, "Can you please not use gendered language while addressing the crowd?"
Wait. Is that the one where it's like that one chick, and he was like, he was everybody was like, point of privilege, point of personal privilege, point of order, point of personal privilege,
And everybody's just like throwing garbage around at the same time too.
yeah, and can somebody run a microphone to the comrade in the jean jacket? That's what the children of Gaia would be like.
Most productive children of Gaia moot.
Yeah. Basically, yes.
Maybe Shadow Lords.
There you go. Like, in character, Tyler would be like, hell no, I can't trust those assholes. Out of character, they have the resources, they have the strength in the numbers, they have the territory. They would be heirs to the throne. The only issue is they want that position too much.
They have the copy of the Communist Manifesto and the Conquest of Bread that they are going to give you. You must have that book memorized by the end of the month.
Nah, fuck that. We're gonna go do more fighting. All right, we'll be back.
All of your money will be controlled by the Shadow Lords.
Oh, double no, because then I can't fucking afford beer. You're out of your mind.
That's the reason why they're taking your money.
You drink too, I don't know what I heard.
Well, I think the answer is pretty obvious here.
Well, like I said.
You ready for this?
What's up?
Ready for my answer?
What?
But
Black Furies.
Why?
really?
Yeah, I'm saying Black Furies.
They'd kill every man, and then you'd have half the strength of the Garrow.
Well, on top of that, with how attuned they are to the wild, they'll eventually rediscover the whole, I put some blood and my own vaginal fluid into the ground and it grows a Cabbage Patch Kid, and I no longer need to have sex gift.
Yeah, there was
ritual.
that.
But on top of that, they're the most active, badass fighters for the Gary Nation. And along with it, it seems that just as a tribe, the Black Furies just have their shit together. And when you look at their history, they're more agreeable because the Black Furies are still open to change their minds. because you saw that they hated Christianity and Judaism for years until they formed the Order of the Merciful Mother. You can reason with the Black Furies, which is why I'm saying that they need to be the ones in charge.
That actually does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point there.
And that Silver Fang moon totem theory, you ready for this?
Yes.
We have an extra totem for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Dewey.
The moon.
Luna.
Yeah. Background costs 7. The incarnation of Luna that reigns within the celestial realm, sometimes referred to as Phoebe, sometimes referred to as Sakta. All names please her equally. Although the Stargazers are meticulous about referring to her as Sakta, she will sometimes agree to watch over a pack as a totem of respect. The traits, background cost 7. Phoebe's children will receive 3 enigmas, and Primal Urge 2. What's more, the incarnation will allow people to know the gift from the Ragabash, Open Moon Bridge. Behold, you now have the keys to teleport wherever you want.
Oh,
and
shit.
The ban. Children of Phoebe, Sakta, Luna are pledged to defend moon bridges and moon paths from predations of the worm. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Kick that falcon to the curb, pick up the moon.
Yes. The only thing
That's all
higher
I
than
need
the
to do.
Falcon is the moon.
And
And the
part
sun.
of me wants to talk about the burning crown. Part of me wants to talk about the burning crown, but no, let's save that for 3.5 when that releases.
Yeah. Okay. So that being said, mixing splats.
Mixing splats. Well, I think the first one's obvious. Wraith.
How so?
I mean, behold, the Ivory Priesthood.
Oh, yeah. I blanked for a second there. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. And now you have a antagonist for your Wraith game, because the Wraiths don't give a shit about you as a Wraith. No, the Silver Fangs don't give a shit about Wraiths. You'll try to come up to them, and this will be the first tribe that will do everything it can to not help you. So, the minute you start pestering them, they'll immediately try to exercise you. And behold, that's going to be a hell of a fight, because yes, they are going to have fetishes that can attack ghosts. Most fights with Wraiths tend to be, I sit in a room, you sit in a room. I can't touch you, you can't touch me unless we have certain powers. No, an Ivory Priest is going to have a staff or a sword that's going to be able to hit a Wraith. So, behold, approach these guys at your own peril, because it will only ever go poorly.
All right.
Changing to Dreaming, once again, another antagonist with the Silver Fangs. You as a Changelings, you might be having issues with Fomori as commoner Kith, so anyone who's now a she. And upon trying to go to a Geru for help, you instead get Silver Fangs who stonewall you because you're not a she. So you're going to have a game where you try showing the Silver Fangs the importance of having other Changeling allies to side with.
Yep.
On top of that, these guys hate the Unseelie Court. So, behold, you can have these guys fight the Unseelie Fae for your adventure.
Yeah, that's fun.
Mages.
They mentioned
These guys
in the second edition one. They mentioned the Dream Speakers by name. Who do they mention in the first edition?
Nafandi.
Yeah, Nafandi. And those would be your antagonists in the game then.
Yeah, your infernal mages, your Malfian mages, your mages who just worship evil for the sake of evil. If you see the big skinny triangle, behold, that's an evil mage.
Yes.
So, yeah, as we know, a Nafandi tends to be an end-game boss, just because of how outwardly incredibly destructive their magic is. So that's going to be a hell of a fight, and you are going to see people die in that fight, but that's going to be a great way to end your game.
Oh yeah, that'd be a tearjerker ending.
Oh yeah, it will be.
After all, it's a war ending. Probably only one of your player characters will live throughout that encounter.
Yeah, and bear in mind, you're doing this on hard mode. Again, you're playing as a Silver Fang.
Yeah.
Shots
and now
fired.
now we have a fun one. Punch of the Reckoning. How's this going to work?
That's interesting because like as it read in second edition, the Silver Fangs are like, let's teach those idiot humans a lesson about who is here first. They're gonna come in all gung ho and then get their shit pushed in by some hunter with hunters do hunters use a ret? What is it for hunters?
See, the hunters have their convictions,
Yeah.
where the more zealous or determined you are, you get power from that. So it is magic, but it's not magic at the same time.
Yeah. So then they meet someone with a stupid amount of conviction and get their shit pushed in.
On top of that, you can have tyrannical government versus tyrannical government, the IAA versus the Silver Fangs.
Oh, I was in the yeah. It was a shite job, but it paid well.
You can see who can grind the boots of their citizens better.
Yeah, it's a part of my life I wasn't very proud of.
And I was just pulling up Hunter stuff. I found something unrelated.
I feel like if I ever run Hunter, it'd be neat to just to do it like in the 1990s when actually no, Colt left the army in 1998. I'm trying to remember when that would be. Yeah. What are you laughing about?
It's one of those things that isn't relevant.
Oh my fucking okay, hang on. What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Friar talking to a lizard person.
He's talking to Sir Hiss.
Yes.
What the fuck is this?
That is that's so look at his smile. God, that is weird, dude. What the hell?
Hunter Reckoning, dude.
Yeah, Hunter's fucking wild.
And now for the moment you've been waiting for. Vampire.
Yes. Who do we match them up with?
You're probably going to say that I'm cheating with this matchup, considering that it's typically the tribe, according to some people, is dead. But I highly disagree with you because of just how powerful their disciplines are. So to review our matchups, Fianna versus Setite, Wendigo versus Banu Hakim, Silent Shredder versus Malkavian, Glasswalker versus Bruja, the Black Furies versus the Nosferatu, Red Talons versus Cappadocians and Giovanni, Children of Gaia versus La Sombra, Bonars versus Zamichi, and the Octena versus the Tremere. With these guys, this is obscure. Would you like to take a guess?
Well, I mean, would it be too hard to assume that like the hard mode of werewolf would have to fight the hard mode of vampire and have them fight the salubri? The workers of miracles as they were.
I was considering that, but then another tribe that I'm kind of obsessed with came across my mind. And I decided, as I was thinking about it, no, it has to be these guys. Clan Bali.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting pick.
So, you may be wondering, why am I picking these? I'm saying it's my list. I get to pick whatever I want for it. Well, we've talked multiple times that the Silver Fangs were chosen by three different gods, Luna, Gaia, and Helios, according to their own mythology. Even though they're not really gods, they're more celestial powers, celestial beings, which kind of are and aren't gods. I don't know. Clan Book Brabana, the tradition book Brabana is a little weird about that. But the Bali are the inverse. They were chosen by devils. The Bali reached out to the devils of hell and said, we will summon you. We'll make sacrifices in your name in hopes that they would get power from that. And they succeeded in summoning their demons, and they realized what a horrible mistake that was. Now Clan Bali in the Modern Knights is trying their best to appease the demons that they summoned, because they realize that they're about to destroy all of existence with what they've done. They're not going to have a future if there is no world to live on. So behold, you have a clan that swears that they are the good guys, that want to make themselves sound like the good guys, when the Silver Fangs are anything but good. And you have the Bali, who start off as horrible people that did horrible things, who are now in a weird anti-hero position where they're trying the best they can to put the genie back into the bottle.
Yeah, that does seem like an interesting matchup. I mean, you have just you have hero in name only versus the apathetic anti-hero. That's a really neat matchup.
Yeah.
And we were talking about overpowered powers.
The Bali.
So not only is Fear of the Void below incredibly powerful at 2 points in Daimonian demon summoning, but Conflagration, their third level power, is pretty much the I win button of Vampire.
How so?
You want me to read it off for you?
Yeah, tell us what Conflagration does.
All right. So going to the Salgia wiki in order to pull up the information as to what Conflagration does. System only. The player spends a blood point, creating a bolt of black flame that inflicts 1 die of aggravated damage. The more blood points are spent, the more the fire grows in size and the more damage it will deal. Such fires are fleeting and dissipate at the end of the turn, unless the body continues to spend blood points on Conflagration over several turns, gradually creating a larger flame. The player also rolls Dexterity plus Occult difficulty 6 to hit the target, who may dodge as normal. Vampires confronted by this black flame enter Roach-Shrek, which is their own version of Fox Frenzy, and I assume the same would happen if they were fighting a werewolf, where they would enter Fox Frenzy.
Yeah, that's really fucking wild, dude.
As long as you have blood points, you can just instantly kill a target by just growing the flame. You don't even need to hit them with it. You just need to drop it in front of them. Spend those 2 blood points. Behold, the fire is now touching them. They're taking 2 points of aggravated damage. Spend more points. Boom. Combat over.
Wow.
That sounds
that is
completely
scary.
fucking broken.
Yes. You wonder why these guys were genocided by every other vampire clan.
Yes.
Right.
Sure, there is one
Camarilla,
left.
Sabat, and Anarchs will put down everything they're doing just to kill a Bali the minute one surfaces.
Wow. All right. So that is
And yeah,
that is Clan
The-
Silver Fang.
the worst. The worst.
Just the worst.
Behold, you have won the award. You have won the award for worst.
Here he is, the biggest douche of the universe. In all the galaxy, there's no bigger douche than he.
Congratulations, Sophie. Come up and grab your award. You
Yes.
earned it.
So if you are a seasoned werewolf player and you want everyone to hate you, play the Silver
Play a
Fangs.
Fiona. I mean,
No.
Silver.
Motherfucker.
I got one in. I got another one in.
It got no respect around here.
No. The Fiona never do, but that's again another reason I like them. All right, that about tears up for this episode. We are going on 3 hours now, and I need to go to bed.
Yeah, let's end this episode now.
All right, thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Get out of here.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.
GN.
GN.